Yeah,
Yes.
I'm here.
I'm on top of that. Listen, I'm always on top of that.
W production.
Getting together.
All right.
Insane
guys.
production.
Restart. 3, 2. All right, guys. Welcome to the CODcast. This is the final episode of the season. It's been a wonderful season. EWC has concluded.
Wait, this is really our last episode? We're not going to do like another one? Like
no, we're going to do
thoughts,
special
like
edition episodes, but of the official season for Black Ops 7, this is the final episode. And then after that, like it'll be when something happens, we're probably going to have, 4 or 5 episodes during this off season. But that'll be when there's like a lot of news flowing in. But this is like a quick EWC recap, and then we're going to discuss some of the roster stuff that's going on. But I want to welcome Ben, as always, and Dylan Attach. My guy's been grinding the content and it's got some good takes. I've been liking the takes, Dill. Welcome to the show.
Fantastic takes. Thank you, Ant. Appreciate that. Takes the ball nowhere to no one, I have to deal with Ben J all day, so he makes me look a little bit smarter than I am.
Now, Ben has a lot of takes. I heard some of them.
No, he does that. Ben has some good ones.
He has some bad ones too. He just lets them fly immediately when they come into his brain. So they're not all going to be good, but they age well sometimes. So can't be mad. But first things first, guys. So I know you've been talking about a lot of roster stuff. There's a lot of people who watch who probably didn't see all of EWC, so we'll just recap it really quick. These are the official placings. Obviously, me and Ben were there. The energy in there for an EWC was the best energy we've had at a EWC so far. I really like the move to Paris. And OpTic get the dub. Quickly to you, Ben. Thoughts on OpTic getting the dub and the implications going forward after winning back-to-back EWCs?
I think OpTic were obviously the best team of the tournament. I think their search and destroy, especially on Sunday, really leveled up, and that was kind of the limiting factor for them at champs at major 3, major 2, major 1. So I think the improvement there was key, and I think it gives them momentum, and we'll probably talk about whether they'll make a change or not make a change, but the momentum they generate off of that win is great. I think for Miami Heretics, making it to the grand final was a good send-off for that team. Sucks that they weren't able to force a 9th map, because they actually kind of battled decently in that series.
They did.
But shout out to them. Another disappointing EWC for Thieves. I think they were expecting to get to that final match, didn't, had to reverse sweep Falcons. And then Falcons getting top 4 was kind of sick. I think FAZE are probably the most disappointing team, but they also had to play OpTic early on in the knockout bracket.
Yeah,
10:45.
It was very late.
PM, but they didn't.
Yeah, it was.
But they also should never get 4-0'd by OpTic. So a lot of questions there for the FAZE guys to end the season. And those are most of my thoughts at a high level from EWC.
But Dill, like, I just imagine, like, you won champs before, and like imagine like not only 2 weeks later having another like version of champs. Like, it's gotta be hard to replicate, like, because even like I've won an event and it's hard at the next event to like go in and be like win it again. 100%. It's so difficult. Can you speak to that a little bit, like from the perspective of FAZE, of like I don't think this 4-0 is an indicator of how good this team truly was. Like I do think that it's probably partly mental. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I still think like FAZE, Sim kind of said in an interview before, like we already went out there, we won champs. So EWC is still very important. They still want to go out there and win. You're not going there to not try and lose. It's still so much money. It's by far the second biggest tournament of the year. But being consistent enough to just always be in the winning spot is nearly impossible in Call of Duty, which kind of makes the OpTic Texas season more impressive because they were top 2 all year. I know people call them surfers, but they still won 2 events. But yeah, it's just so hard to like stay at that top level and do this. And I'm sure EWC, the scheduling is a lot different compared to what they're used to. That probably threw them off their game a little bit, but still everyone's going through that. So there's no excuses. But of course, when you win, we've seen players in the past, like, who was it? Remember, I think, wasn't it Sensor who won an event in like UMG Nashville, and he got home and was just insufferable after that in 8th?
Yes, he was. That? Yeah, I do remember that.
Like, every time
the bomb glitch won in the event.
Yeah. Every time you shoot Doug in the back, you'd be like, bro, this guy's fucking joking me. Like, this guy would not do this shit on land.
Yeah.
So, like, people can get like that sometimes. They can get comfy. I mean, but nowadays, bro, it's so much money, though. Like, back then, it might have been a little bit harder because, like, you're going from an MLG or, like, a playoffs where you can win a shit ton of money to a UMG tournament, where if you win, like, what, 5K each?
Yeah.
Here, you win this fucking tournament, you get 150 racks. That's practically winning champs again. So I fucking wish we had this back in the day where we had a COD champs and then a second COD champs. Essentially, that's 350K if you win both.
I wish, yeah, it would be great.
That's the motivation right there.
Yeah, it's definitely a motivation. But OpTic were clearly hungrier by this result. You could see.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
yeah, they were definitely more upset after champs for sure.
And I think this performance from OpTic, like after seeing this, you're like, they're just gonna win. Like this was probably the best single team performance that we've seen on the year, really. Like they blitzed them, bro. It was not close.
Yeah.
And OpTic get that win. So other than that though, yeah, Falcons, good performance. Nice to see a Luca again. And then 100 Thieves, a little bit of redemption. You know, we spent a lot of time talking about them prior to going into this event. What did you see from Scrap and Hydra at this event, Ben? Because we were pretty like heavily critical on those guys coming in EWC.
I mean, I think they played great ball up until like the OpTic series, and that's the unfortunate thing for Thieves. It's championship or bust, and like, you know, in the big events at the end of the season that you build towards, they had a completely disappointing champs, and then the team that they've had a lot of success at earlier in the season, OpTic, especially on LAN, they couldn't crack that egg at EWC. So I think for Thieves, and we'll probably talk about later in the show, it means that I think Scrap and Paco as free agents are going to be leaving Thieves and going elsewhere to try and find more success throughout a season, because this is a very up and down, disappointing season. They were really good for a couple of months towards the end of spring, early summer, but still didn't really show anything at the big events.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they dealt with a fair amount of adversity throughout this year, right? Like obviously the Kenny situation, pivoting to Neum. You know, there was a stint where you could consider them the best team in the game, and you know, still left this year, I think, with a successful season. And then the bounce back at EWC. Dill, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, we had you know, all the challengers teams here, a gauntlet of a format.
Yeah.
Just to like kind of put a cap on EWC. What players do you think, it could be even like top pros as well, or players on pro teams, like built their stock a little bit over the course of EWC for this offseason? Because that's a huge aspect of this tournament. As an individual, like you want to leave the game or leave the season on a high note. So were there any players you think like had a huge leap and maybe their stock going into this offseason?
Yeah. I mean, we all know COD definitely is very heavily recency bias. So it's always good to end the season on a high note. I would say a lot of the challengers teams, barring the OMIT team, who we thought was going to be a lot better, like all the other challengers teams at least beat one of the shit league teams. OMIT didn't even beat C9. So it's like, those guys were about to be sold for 40, 50K. Like there was some crazy buyouts happening, and everyone else in challengers raised their stock. Like, I think Mythics, Lins stood out. Like that whole the PEU team actually looked pretty good.
Even
the matches they lost.
That singular play from Lins might have just I don't think anybody.
That was that's a bad blackout right there.
You know what I mean?
Like, that's bad. The thing is, they played FaZe pretty close and Gentlemates too, but yeah, that's a bad blackout. Having a streak and then just not realizing it,
and then tweeting out and saying that you didn't have it is even crazier.
Yeah, but then he's like, "Oh wait, I had it, but then I didn't realize because I died right after I had gotten it."
Yeah.
But then you had like 4 or 5 lives after where you should have known.
So I don't think his stock got affected.
On the pro level, I would say, well, obviously Aluka. I feel like Aluka's the biggest one just because this was like another event where he's like, okay, you did good at champs. Everyone could have a good event here and there. But he went to the EWC, did the same thing. Granted, they got reverse swept by Thieves. I think everyone thinks Aluka's like, he's probably going to be the most sought after like young player / rookie this year.
I agree.
Because he came out and proved that he's a shooter and he just turned that whole team Falcons around. So I'd probably say Aluka.
He's got to get better at search. As soon as he can figure out S&D a little bit, that kid's going to be a beast. In those like in that last series, he's getting blooded like way too much. But I agree. I think Aluka's stock built it a lot, like showing you can do it 2 events. And then somebody in chat also said it, but I totally agree. I now view Estriel as like an A tier, like just below like the S tier SMGs. Like I think Estriel's firmly put himself there. He's good, bro. And he had a really good event. Ben, what about you? Anybody who built their stock up this event? Pro players, any challenger players?
I think you guys covered most of it. Justice, Aluka are like the 2 biggest winners, I think, on that front. Obviously you covered like guys, a lot of the EU challengers players like Mythics that I think will get a look on some NA teams, but they should be mindful of not, you know, teaming with people that are going to tank their stock and make them a one and done in NA. I think DK obviously had a good showing out. Disappointing for Vikram and Ethan. I think those were 2 players that I thought would be a little bit better, and they didn't have
talk about dimensions. I forgot to bring up
Nemi had a great event. Nemi had a great event.
He's pretty good.
From challengers, he probably had the single biggest stock rise from challengers.
Because he wasn't getting thrown around to like get picked up right away, right? Like he was.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
And now he might be like considered. Who was I just looking at? Oh, also, what did you guys think? I thought Envoy played really well this tournament. Like for somebody who needed a big, because we highlighted him before the event, me and Ben, saying like this event means a lot for him for his future going into this offseason. I think he might have secured himself a guaranteed spot somewhere. Because he looked good these last 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
But all right, so I think that's our list there. Let's get to what everybody wants to talk about. Now, you guys have been talking about this for the last couple days, so I'm just here to join the convo. So let's just kick it off. Let's open up this can of worms. Now, if you're OpTic, what do you do during this off season? I've been thinking about this all morning, so I'll kick it off here. One, I will say, if you're OpTic, everything's like a win-win situation, right? And I don't think you should worry too much. I think you should definitely, if it's Simp or Hydra, those are the only 2. And you should definitely be in the conversations because this just doesn't come around where you're going to have these chances, right, to get these guys. And then also on the flip side of that, it's not like there's this massive risk that you're going to like kill Hook's vibe or whatever. You've dropped this guy like 5 times and picked him back up and it's worked, right? So there's no like huge risk there with like destroying your team chem. And I just think it's just like if you run it back, fine, the team will be good. But these 2 players are just not going to be available at the same time and with a realistic chance to go grab them. And I think Hook's very good, but those 2 players could make their team a lot better. I haven't heard your guys' like official take on what OpTic should do, but I think that's where I'm at. I think you do your due diligence, you inquire about those guys, obviously if the players are down. And if you can get Simp or Hydra, I think you kind of have to. That's how I look at it personally.
Ben, you want to take this one? You want to start off?
Yeah, I mean, listen. So the pimp, there's been some reporting on Breaking Point, Twitter about the pimp maybe looking at this and that. I think he's contracted on FAZE, so any one of these conversations are like he forces his way out, get bought out.
Wait, rewind. So did you get? Because you kind of leaked that last episode. Is he contractor or is he not? Like, where's that coming from? If he's not, if you don't know for sure, then where is that coming from?
It's not. It sounds like he's re-signed some deal during the year because
why does
Ronnie
it sound
also
like that?
reported it as well. Because that's what it sounds like. What? Like I don't. What do you want from me? Like what I have heard is that he is not a unrestricted free agent. That is not the status.
But like, who has said this? Who like where is your?
Well, it would be great if we had the official CDL database of contracts, but we fucking don't. So, like, I don't know what you want me to say about that. Like, I'm relying on other people communicating information to this. No one has sent me the list of unrestricted free agents that the league sends around, every summer before the window. So I don't even know. How confident
are you that Simp is signed to FAZE on a contract?
I'm pretty confident that he is not an unrestricted free agent. We'll just put it that way.
All right. Are they willing to deal him? I'm
confident that he can't just dip off to another team willy-nilly.
Okay, so then let's just ignore Simp to OpTic then. So then let's just,
because that would never happen if he's
the reason I think Simp to OpTic wouldn't make as much sense as Simp to a Gentlemates or a Falcons is because Simp wants, if he were to go elsewhere, he'd want to bring like his whole coaching staff, and OpTic's not getting rid of JP and DB5 to have a whole new coaching staff come in.
That's a good point. Yeah,
that's why I think like Falcons Gentlemates would be more realistic if that were to happen. And knowing FAZE, like if Chris truly wants to leave, they'll let him go to another team. Granted, they're going to need to get paid a fuck ton of money. They're not letting Simp, they're the MVP of COD champs, the fucking one of the greatest COD players of all time, just walk for cheap. And just like, they're going to get a good deal out of it. But yeah.
Wait, so you don't think OpTic would just be like, fuck it and pay Simp and Crowder?
Well, it's
FAZE
Crowder,
will not, guys.
RJ and Fish.
Like, so you think 100% Simp won't move without his coaches though? Like that's a.
You're missing the point completely, boys. FAZE will not sell Simp to OpTic.
Can't hear you, Benjay's.
You don't even entertain this combo. Doesn't matter.
When did we say Simp to OpTic? I bet I literally just said he's not going to go to OpTic because he would want to bring his coaching staff. You're missing the point. No, you're missing the point.
It's not even about who or what. FAZE will not sell their best player to OpTic. That will never happen. That is not a non-starter. That is like going from Celtic to Rangers, Barcelona to Real Madrid, Yankees to Red Sox. It's not going to happen.
People are talking about it, so we're just bringing it up. We're just bringing it up. I get what you're saying.
It's just never going to happen.
But then why would they do that to like Gentlemates if it's going to be a God squad anyway as well, right? Like,
because that's not a rival team. You don't have 10 years of rivalry with that fucking team.
All right. Well,
I think we're looking too deep into it. I don't think it's that.
No, that's what I'm saying. You are looking too deep. I'm telling you, just a non-starter. Like, there's no point. I do think
OpTic if people want it, but I don't think Simp even. Well, I think they want him as a player, but they're not bringing the whole staff.
I think if Chris forced his way out, he could get sold to anywhere but OpTic. I think that would be the one team that he would be told no. Falcons, Gentlemates, fucking Toronto, Koi, sure. OpTic, hell no.
All right, so let's just assume he stays on FaZe, which is probably the most likely scenario here. So OpTic then, if their options are Paco, well, their option is Paco. Let's start with you, Dill. Like, what do you think about that? Like, would you, if in the situation OpTic's in, all the seconds, couple first places, going into a modern warfare game, Paco, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, like you said earlier, OpTic's in a win-win situation. They either keep Hook, they're a great team, or they get Hydra, they're a great team. The one big reason I'm kind of like, I don't know if they should get Paco. Obviously, he's a generational talent. His S&D probably would help the team a lot, but no, just knowing Hook and Shotzi's history together, like they've won 8 Call of Duty tournaments together. Hook brings out the best Shotzi consistently. So it's like, why would we switch that up? And Hook's best thing is his comms and his respawn. His respawn's incredible. The only thing he needs to work on is his search. If they could figure out the search, they'd be insane. But every other thing than that, they're really fucking good. I just don't really see the point of making a change when it comes down to like a Call of Duty gameplay. I don't see the reason for it. Like, how much better can they really get if they get Hydra? Maybe they could win 3 or 4 events in the year, but I still think they were They went game 7 in 2 of the finals. Then they lost 3 round 11s in COD Champs finals. So it's like, brother, if you're just a little bit better S&D, that's probably an extra chip right there.
Yeah, but you're just assuming that the baseline is going to be what happened this year, right? When it's like all the other team, and then you're assuming all the other competitions similar to what it was this year. If there's other teams that are formed that are better, right? Then like this is just something that you protect yourself against, right? If you have an opportunity to go get a guy like a Hydra, and he's going to bring your baseline up and respawn. Like, these are other things. If you have to work on stuff already, you just said, we have to work on Hook's S&D. We have to work on our ability to close out finals. There's already things that you have to work on. Then why not get a pack-a-punch and then work on the things that you would need with that guy anyway? You get what I'm saying? So, like, for me, I look at it like...
Every team has something to work on, though.
Yes, every team has something to work on, and you just said it yourself. So even if you bring in Hydra, you have something to work on. You're effectively deleting another like, insane SMG duo, right? Because I think Hook's very good, especially with the players around him, but he's not going to be like the standalone takeover player on another roster that Paco would be. At least I think he'd be very good on another team, but I just don't think he's going to have the same exact impact that Paco would have on another roster, just because of the amount of kills that he can get on a consistent basis. So like you diminish your competition a little bit, and you increase like your baseline talent on the roster. So I don't.
You could. I will just say with the history, it shows that Hook and Shotzi have a fucking insane head-to-head versus Hydra. So unless he maybe goes to FaZe, where it's a Hydra Simp duo, okay, that gets a little scary. Any other duo than that, I'm not sure OpTic would even really worry. Like, I don't think a Hydra Joe Deceives duo moves me towards like, holy shit, they can keep up with Hook and Shotzi like that consistently. Hydra and Simp though, okay, I could see some conversations about it. But they've handled Hydra for years. It's not like this is some new thing. So I don't know. I don't really think they're going to stress too much about that. But I do see what you're saying. I think one thing about this OpTic team as well is the mindset they all have. They're all very easy to work with. Like Hook, he just sits there, grinds. He's a great teammate. Merc, quiet, works hard, he's kind of the one that keeps everyone in check from like all the JP tweets and the stories we've heard of like Mercules snapping at everyone, splashy, keeping everyone in line. And then Shotzi's unproblematic too. Like they just have such a good team dynamic. They've clearly showed they could overcome adversity in multiple titles. They've made history together. They've had the highest average placing we've ever seen in Call of Duty history throughout a single season. So it's like, bro, how much better do they need to be?
No, I like the team, but I just think about it from a perspective of Dill. can we go out and try to do something that's just not even been done in like other FPS esports? Let's win every event. And like, if you really wanted to get to that level, to where you're winning every event, you need to get the best talent that is available in the entire game and put it on one team. And for a storied esport that's been around for 11, 12, 15, 20 years, it's hard for the contracts to work out to where you can get all that talent into one place. And if your roster's in a spot where you are that good, where you are getting second at every tournament, which like you said is a historic year, and there's a player who's available who is also on that level or can bring you to the next one, which is unheard of in esports, and you go out and you go get it. You get what I'm saying? Like this is a unicorn. This is a unicorn situation, right? Where you shoot for the moon. How much worse could we realistically get bringing in Hydra? Like, how much worse? Like, it's
just one of those things we'd have to see to know. Like, maybe maybe they clutch up more in grand finals. Like, maybe they win 3 of the 6 events this year, but at 1 or 2 events they get a 3rd, 4th. Maybe their floor rate's a little bit lower, but their ceiling is a little bit higher. Because how would the respawn dynamic work between the team too? I mean, selfishly, I'd probably like to see him change, because OpTic being involved in Rostermania makes everything way more entertaining.
You're an expert, and we're going to get to you in a second, Ben, because I know you have a lot of takes. Dill, let me ask you one question before we kick this over to Ben.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Like, can you see this OpTic roster, Shotzi, Dashy, Hook, Mercules, winning every event next year? Like, can you see them winning just every event? All fucking 5 tournaments in EWC. Like, be honest. With all the other talent that's available on COD and at least one other super team getting made. That is fucking like unheard of. Bro.
I mean, to answer that, I don't think any team ever is winning every event.
Okay, but
to be honest,
but
this team
Hydra
was the closest to ever doing that.
Sure, but Hydra on this team, there's a world in the multiverse, Hydra on that team, where you can look at it, you could be like, how surprised would you truly be if they just won every event? Like, you can see that.
I could still see it, but like it's nearly impossible.
It is, but you can see that happening. And I think that's what you go for.
This team was the closest ever to doing that. They were 2 Game 5 S&D. The only finals where they got actually kind of slammed was Major 2. Mm-hmm. It was 4-1. Other than that, COD champs, they could have won 3 round 11s.
But guess what? Obviously, in all of those finals that you're talking about, the team that close to ever do that, and this is going to sound like Hook hate. It's not. I think he's very good. I think they'd be super good. Hook didn't perform in a lot of those finals.
No, he didn't.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
He didn't play good in finals. Hook has 2 things about him. He didn't play good in search throughout the whole year. Could be his role potentially. They could have maybe freed him up a little bit more, had shots to work with him. But yes, his finals weren't good.
And it's not just him. There were other players. There are other players who didn't perform that well in finals either. But that's what Hydra is like. He could pop up, take over a final, right, and just close it out. Like, he's a closer. All right, now Ben, after our yap sesh back and forth, hearing everything, both of our sides, we're very much in different camps. What's your take? What are your thoughts on this?
I'm kind of in your camp, band of like, either way OpTic go here is fine. I kind of on the side of, you really do got to think about the Paco thing. You can't just be like, oh, we won 2 events this year. Wait, we're down EWC win. Like, let's not make a change just because the continuity is there. I think when a player like Paco is available, you got to sit there and think about it. I would not, if I'm OpTic, think about making moves for, say, a scrap and shuffling roles. I don't like that. I don't like, going down to only having one sub.
You wouldn't drop Merc for scrap right now, like Donnie said?
Wait, hold on. I wasn't there. I saw that clip. Though, was he being real? Was he being like
that? He was being real.
He said it on Breaking Point too. He was being dead ass.
Yeah, that's insane, bro. That like legitimately an insane take. I've had crazy takes. Absurd.
That might be the craziest one.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
Don was smoking that loud. Anyway, I think for OpTic, look, it pretty much comes down to, do you want Paco or not for Kyler is really the only move. I see both sides of it. The continuity with Kyler is great, and they're continuing to build on that. On the flip side, I think the Paco Shotzi duo would be better. I think that potentially they would get better in S&D with Paco. So I think either way they go is fine. The question for me is, has OpTic already thought about it? Where's Paco at with OpTic relative to all of his other options now that I think everybody's pitched him? Because if OpTic's not at the top of that list, then if I'm OpTic, it's like, well, there's no point then. But at the top of the list, then you get in this weird situation now. We'll get to it with like the FAZE and general mates. Like, who's going to blink first and speed this whole thing up because it's going so slow? But I'm fine either way. From my perspective, in my opinion, they keep and they stick fine. If they want to make a change for Paco, I understand.
If you had to pick one, what would you pick? Because I personally would keep Hook and would pick up Hydra. You got to keep one.
If it were me, Dill, I would probably drop Kyler for Paco, mainly because I think that they would get better from a talent perspective. I think they would figure out all the little chemistry things with the sub duo and some of the little objective things. Okay. Generally, I think Paco is a difference maker. Whereas I think Kyler is a great player. And the one thing for the OpTic camp, if they do that though, is everybody's got to step up in the communication department. We got to be all willing to always call out where we're spawning. It doesn't matter who anyone is. If we know where they're coming from, we need to communicate to our teammates, hey, they're spawning here, so that we can make decisions, talk to each other on who's going to block, who's going to pick up this lane. Our communication is going to have to raise our floors because Collar's not there to fucking backstop everybody in that department. But they're professionals, they're adults, and I think they can.
They'll be able to do that. The biggest thing on that end is it's not even like the comms thing, because I do think they'll just be able to do that. I think it's just like putting in the work on the back end in the film room, because from everything that we've heard and what we've seen is that Hook is kind of like of the players outside the coaches, like the vocal leader in that aspect. So somebody will definitely have to step up there and make sure that they're taking that shit super serious. But I mean, from the side of Merc, I'm sure he's like that as well. And he's going into his third year now, so second full one. Yeah,
I could see Mason starting to develop into a leader.
Yeah,
I could see sort of the qualities as he comes out of his shell to be that kind of guy. But I think Paco is that guy too. From what I understand, like Paco is pretty vocal and works pretty hard
in between rounds, in between maps. That's all we see.
Paco's pretty vocal.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about that.
The one thing I didn't like about the Thieves camp this year is like I feel like they're so quick to like chalk scrims or just like kind of mess around. I don't know who was like the real leader that keeps everyone checked. Like if Paco were to go to OpTic, I don't think he could just be like like he could like mess around. I think he would still be locked in. But he's coming into a situation where he's gonna join their system. Obviously, they're gonna work to like get him comfortable in the game and work with him like, together. But it's not becoming the Hydra show. Like Hydra, you're joining OpTic. They're not joining Hydra. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But let's just also like
established system.
Dill, let's also like think about OpTic's last couple of years. Like obviously, you win a couple of champs, you have this insane year here, and it's like, this roster, it wasn't like splash moves. Like it was kind of tumultuous, like 0-18, end up, going the back and forth with Pred and getting Hook, and then Mercules, obviously after the Toronto thing, you pick him up. It's not like people were instantly just all knocking on the door immediately, right? So you kind of walked into this team. And you didn't make like a huge splash move. Like, and this team is that good. Paco is solidified, like elite as fuck. Like you're going to be able to, they have a good coaching staff. They have players who have won on every level in Call of Duty. Like they're going to be able to figure it out with Paco. So like, I don't think like, I think the take of like, oh man, maybe they get like worse. I think that's crazy to me. Like that.
Well, how much better? Obviously it could be better, but how much? Because I feel like their respawn is already so well polished and figured out. Like they were so dominant at hardpoint and overload. In S&D on land, because you could pull up the land stats for like all their modes. They didn't lose a respawn. If they did lose a respawn, it was pretty much because of a fucking 0-4 dropping 45, and there's nothing you can do about that. Like because that's just what 0-4 would do sometimes versus OpTic. But they handled everyone in respawn. Hook was also the thing about Hook. What do you mean?
They against FaZe in. Okay, against FaZe and Champs, they split the respawns. The difference is the S&Ds. So, like, OpTic is the most consistent respawn team in the game this year, but the good team still won their like, that's what I'm saying. That's why S&D wins championships, because you get to that grand final, we're going to win the maps we're good at, you're going to win the respawn maps you're good at, and then S&D is the battlefield in which the difference in that series is determined.
Okay,
that's what I just said, guys. That's what I just said. I was talking about respawn right here.
Go ahead. Okay,
I was talking about respawn. So I was saying, like, they were handling a respawn. And if we remember correctly, from Major 1 to Major 4, what was the common theme of OpTic during bracket play before grand finals?
They would just mop everybody, but they would choke.
No.
What do you mean?
Hook. Well, yes, they would mop everyone, but Hook was always, everyone was like Hook MVP. Literally every single event from Major 1 to Major 4. Let's add context. Because he was frying.
They played Toronto in that spot multiple times, and Toronto just couldn't buy a kill against them. And like I think it was like 2 or 3 events in a row where they played Toronto in that spot.
I mean,
and like they avoided,
they played FaZe though.
But they avoided FaZe a lot of the times, and when they played FaZe, they like we saw at Major 2, GGs, right? So like they
beat him in winners finals.
The spot that they were in, they just kept running into Koi for like 2 events straight. So like to me, I don't look at it as like I don't know. I just feel like Koi was kind of free for OpTic. It was just a matchup diff.
Yeah, I mean, people saying bracket choose every single major is just fucking crazy.
If they ran into Thieves and FaZe more in that spot, they could have had a different year. I'll just be honest.
I mean, they could have, should have, would have, could have. They still beat Gentlemates in winners finals when they came back and lost. Major 2, they still beat.
Well, they were really good.
Finals.
I just look at what's the likelihood of them getting better and the likelihood of them getting worse. The likelihood of them getting better is probably higher than the likelihood of them getting worse. And to me, then that makes it kind of like a no-brainer. I could see your aspect. I could see your perspective of loyalty, and I could see the perspective of like he earned the spot. But that's just unfortunately not how this shit works. That's just not how. Like you think like you think an NFL team looks at it like, oh man, we won the bowl, but fucking Justin Jefferson's available. Am I not gonna go and fucking replace Rashid Shaheed with Justin Jefferson because Rashid Shaheed was an all-pro returner and a good number 2? Like, no, I'm gonna replace him because he's godlike.
This is what the Patriots are very good at, Ant. They moved on from a lot of guys after a great season when they were 28, 29 for either skill reasons or contract reasons and refresh because they were ultimately trying to win. I think Kyler is a great player. I think Paco is on paper better than him, and I think OpTic are seriously gonna think about it.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said though, like the other aspect of it is like they've dropped Hook a couple times, so it's not like it's going to be massively damaging. And if you're Hook, you're probably sitting there like, damn, we play second, but like it is Paco. Like if they decide to keep him, he's going to feel like even better probably at that point. Like, but it's something you have to consider.
Yeah. I mean, Hook, whether he's on OpTic or whether, because let's say he were to get dropped and they pick up Hydra, Hook's going to probably walk on to like Gentlemates, a Falcons rebuild super team potentially, or to FaZe, because who knows what happens with them. Like we don't know what's going to move after OpTic makes the change, because you know they are the biggest domino. The thing is, Hook's not going to change it. Like he's going to play 10 hours a day, S&D channels every night. He's 11 years into his career. He's still one of the hardest, if not the hardest working players. He just gets in there, he shoots bots all day, he watches VOD, then he turns the stream on and plays 2v2 chows. So like Hook's one of those players that like he's already been through everything. There's nothing worse could happen to him in his career that he hasn't already been through and overcome. So he's always gonna figure it out.
Oh yeah, Hook's player page is insane. Like if you look at Hook's rosters he's been on, like this guy is the true test of like going through it all, going back down to challengers. Like this is BO6. Like this is around the corner. You know what I mean? Like this guy, he will always find his way. And I hate that when you talk about stuff like this, it always turns into, wow, why are these guys hating on Kyler? Like we're not. This is just like a super unique situation. That's
the reason this situation is unique, because I want to put some more stuff out there for like the Hydra and Paco thing. Do you ever think there will be another time in COD? Because who knows if Hydra and Scrap are going to team together, but they just teamed together for 2 years in a row. 3 out of the biggest 4 tournaments they played at, they bombed out. But barring this last EWC, and honestly, third, fourth isn't even that good for the expectations of that duo.
Yeah. Yep.
They didn't win one event, $1 million event together. At Champs, they didn't even win a fucking series. They're 0-4 series at COD Champs.
Mm-hmm.
So you're catching both Scrap and Hydra, both generational players in their role at a time where they need to join like the other top teams and top players, because they showed together they couldn't get it done at the big moments. So they're coming off both bad ends to seasons, and they're both unrestricted free agents, which who knows, we might not ever see this again in COD history for both of these players, because in 2 years, Hydra might win COD Champs or Scrap might win COD Champs.
Yeah, you're right.
Both available. So
I know. That's why it helps the case, because it's so rare.
It helps the case. But it is rare that they're both coming off bad years just because they were teaming together.
No, it's rare, and there's a couple things factoring into it as well. It's like not only is it rare that like 2 really good players are available like this, it's rare that like they're not just good players, like they're elite, like all-time players as well.
Yeah.
And your team is also like, if you're talking about OpTic specifically in this instance, like your team is dominant, right? Like pretty much, and close to being extremely dominant.
What's that? People in chat are saying they're still free in 2 years. No, I'm saying they're free off bad seasons where they're trying to go elsewhere.
Yes.
If Scrap is on OpTic in 2, or let's say Hydra's on OpTic in 2 years and they just win COD Champs, do you think Hydra's like, yeah, I want to leave OpTic? Fuck no. Once you're on OpTic, you're staying there until you get dropped. Unless you're just shitting. Yeah, if you're shitting the bed, you're getting dropped. But you're never going to leave OpTic. No one's ever joined OpTic and left willingly. That's just not what happens.
The only time it was even like this was like when the league started, right? Where you could like build a God squad and people just didn't know how to build rosters then. All right, so let's pivot from this and let's like go to the other side of this. So FaZe. All right, so let's say like there's a couple situations like OpTic get Hydra or OpTic don't and they run it back, which for some reason I just feel is more likely. Just based on what I've seen.
Saying Ken and Pred left OpTic. Are you guys? Bro, these
we lost the plot. We lost
the plot.
They said Pred and Kenny left OpTic willingly.
Yeah, all right, guys. Sounds good.
Let's go. They're rage baiting.
You guys bullied Kenny. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
If you're OpTic though, like, or not OpTic, if you're FaZe, what are you doing? You know, you won champs. Obviously, EWC is kind of a sour taste, but we touched on that a little bit. Like mentally, it's just hard to like go into an event a couple weeks after. Do you run it back? Like, what do you? Let's start with you, Ben, from the perspective of FaZe. Like, obviously, scraps in play here, right? But the weird thing for me is like Jiraza and Simp, it seems like they want to play together. Jiraza is obviously very good. Abuza had an incredible season, like comparable to Scrap, in my opinion. I thought Abuza was sensational. So like, I don't view like the AR duo and really the SMG duo, but the AR duo on FaZe is like a negative versus any other AR duo. Like, I feel like that AR duo is as good. So like, what do you do if you're FaZe coming into this offseason?
Well, I think you look at your roster and you had a great team and won 2 events this year, but the key weakness at the end of the season is that they weren't a good search team. So you try to address that weakness because it really hurts you throughout the year. So I think you go position by position. Obviously, Chris is not a droppable player. Then O4 played in elite levels, and the only person that you would theoretically replace O4 for is Shotzi or Hydra. And the AR duel is interesting because Aluka had a crazy last 2 events. So what does FaZe think about Mo's development and ceiling and floor? Do they think that Mo is better than Abuza or better than Draz? That's a key question we don't know the answer to. Scrap, I think you can make the case you'd probably want to pick up for any one of the other 2 ARs. So I'm curious what FaZe do because there are a lot of different ways that they can slice and dice this. I'm pretty confident they're probably going to make a change, at least one going into next year.
I feel like the chat didn't watch COD this year. I really feel like they didn't watch COD. Abuza was insane this year, guys. You know how many maps that guy had where he just popped absolute takeover?
In Respawn.
Yeah, in Respawn. I mean, yeah, their search was iffy towards the end.
But this is the area of, I think Jordan was, listen, I was on this show on the flank, as you know, Ant. I was like, Abuza's going to play an all-star level. I got laughed at by the chat.
I've been a Abuza all year.
All-star level. Yeah. But he does have to work on his S&D. I think the last couple of events, starting with Major 3, kind of exposed sort of the weakness in his game, which he needs to play more confidence in S&D. He's way too passive of that island player in search. He's an easy fucking read. And I think people run him down and put him in bad spots. He is a talented player. Play with more fucking confidence in search. Take more fights. Take more routes. I guarantee he will play better in the game mode because he's a disgusting player. When that guy is not just a turret, sits on a heady AR and just gets fucking kills. When Jordan wants to fucking chow people, his shot's unbelievable.
Okay, so can we all right, so other than like blanket statements, which I'm not mad at you for saying, I want to talk like actually holistically, like when we watch FaZe all year, and Dill, you watched all their games in Search and Destroy, and there's teams like this and players like this. The way that they like to play it was 0-4 kind of on an island doing his own thing. Round develops, and then when they start to distract, he makes a play, and then the round, like, it goes from there. And that doesn't exactly leave a lot of like room for Abuza to be this like massive playmaker in Search. But like, I don't think he was bad at S&D throughout the year. And for the first half of the year, he was the sniper.
I think you've completely misread their fucking team. Bro, he was sniping on Scar.
The first half he was sniping, yes.
Okay, sniping on Scar S&D, which is you go top fucking window and don't move the entire round, okay? For starters. And he was very good at that.
It was really good for 2 months. It was like the meta.
That was not a real S&D map. That was Fugazi search map, okay? But when he has to play fringe S&D, the weakness in FaZe's game is I do think that Simp and 0-4 need to play a little more together in search.
And they started to do that.
And 0-4 came on his show after Champs and talked about that, if you remember, Ant. That he highlighted that was an area that he needed to do a better job communicating to Chris, Simp, what he wanted to do so that they would play together. If you watch their fringe S&D, Bro, if you watch Steve's play for S&D, Ernesto Scrap was very good at middle map, at tracks, in the middle of a round, finding an angle, getting kills to open up his team that was about to bang out 10 or bang out fucking tracks, right?
Okay.
I rarely saw Abuza do that for FaZe. I rarely saw Zach do that for FaZe on that map. They were very unconfident on the back end of their setups, especially on offense, because those two ARs were not finding a lot of openers. Now, I think Zach more than Abuza was getting more effective at it throughout the back end of the season. But that is the weakness in Jordan's game, because he's an unbelievable respawn player. To your point, when you think a lot why FaZe is so good at Scar Hardpoint all year, a lot of that is because of Abuza. A lot of their success on the map was because of Abuza. Do you want to know why they were so good at Colossus Hardpoint? To run it down sub game, you know who was able to get fucking kills when AR on Colossus Hardpoint was fucking Abuza. Why were they so good at Overload? Because Abuza was very good at, if he had to be the last one alive, and they're running at you with the fucking rock trying to get a kill and another kill and staying alive. Jordan was an excellent respawn player, but S&D was lacking. And I think FaZe will look at the success of Abuza in the last two events, or success, sorry, of Luka the last two events, and what Scrap has done all year, and say, unfortunately for Jordan, who had a great season and won a ring in two events, we may be looking to upgrade, and it just is what it is.
Okay, so a quick response. Quick response to this, real quick.
I don't think they get a Luka though.
Real quick, and then you go, Dill. Just real quick.
Okay.
The LA Thieves were like the most dog shit search team for like 3 months of this game, right?
Yep.
They revamped their game. Scrap did become very good at getting first bloods. And then Aluka, he dies first over and over in S&D. It's the #1 negative to his game, right? So I don't think you go in and you replace Abuza with Aluka. I could understand the Scrap aspect, but I just don't think it's like, even if it's a buff, I just don't think it's like a huge, massive buff. I don't. I think Abuza's I think he's still underrated. I think your search thing is a philosophical thing to their S&D. It's not like, oh, he can't find bloods. I just don't think he's in position to do so with the way that they have him playing.
Look at it,
I just don't think that's the case.
I think it's either Scrap or Abuza, and then it's Aluka or Draws. That's like the two things. Like that, it's like
so you think Scrap and you think they can replace both ARs?
I don't think they will, but I think those are the combos you're having. It's, do we want Aluka over Scrap?
No.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Or sorry, not Aluka over Scrap. Sorry. Do we want Scrap or Abuza? Abuza, Jesus. Abuza or Scrap, or Aluka or Draws? Those are the two separate things you're looking at, because I think those are kind of the roles, right? Ernie's not going to pull out a sub unless it's required in a 4-sub situation. As for Aluka, we saw with the sub or AR what he can do. To your point, he's still got to mature as a player. Luka's still very green, and you're picking him up in the same way that you picked up before last year, with the intent purpose that you're going to develop him into an all-star player.
Go ahead,
my turn?
Yeah,
go ahead, Bill.
Okay, I think Luka's great. I'm not taking him over any AR on FaZe or Scrap right now. I'm gonna be honest, like not even close. I wouldn't even consider that. Like that would be like a funny like conversation in the call. Like, yeah, maybe we put a Luka on the app. Yeah, maybe we do that. No, we're not taking anyone over Abuza, Draza, or Scrap over Luka. Maybe one day. That day's not right now, unfortunately for him. He still needs to develop and prove. Like he proved that he deserves to be on a great team, not a FaZe team right now, and not a top 3, because the top ARs in the game are the FaZe ARs, the OpTic ARs, and Scrap. Those are the top 5.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking a look at yet, but I do like the Scrap pickup for FaZe, because Scrap, you look at his S&D stats. Probably for Abuza. I'd probably say for Abuza.
Damn, bro.
In general, I would say Scrap will raise the floor of their respawn even more, because he's such a dominant respawn player. But when it comes down to S&D, he had the highest first blood percentage. He had like one of the most damage per round in the mode as well. So they might have to figure out the sniping a little bit. Like Scrap does snipe a little bit, but then he stopped. He gave it to Neum.
Simp can snipe. Simp can
snipe too, but I think Simp's been more so like the playmaker with the bomb, or just like making plays around the map as a sub. Because Simp was playing the bomb a lot, but he was also had like a 1.2 KD when he while planning the bomb, which is insanely impressive. But I think Scrap like just kind of upgrades this team in every category. Like the respawn gets better and the search gets better. They have a higher floor. And FaZe's issue this year is, yes, they won an event, they won champs as well, but there were some events where they bombed out. They lost to Gentlemates at Major 4. They at Major 1, they had that insane breakdown versus Neptune. So they had a couple third fours. So it comes back to the question you said, can we build a team that can win every single event? Which is impossible in COD. It probably will never happen. but I think Scrap will give this team that much better of a chance to stay dominant in respawns and improve their S&D.
All right,
Because you
so
look at OpTic and you look at FaZe on LAN, if you pull up their LAN stats, both those teams, FaZe was, I think, 18 and 19 in S&D this year, and OpTic was like 18 and 18 on LAN S&D this year. So both teams have room for improvement right there.
I hear you, but if I'm them, then I try to go for broke and get. I'll just go for both of them then. My whole point is this: is like
who? Like, are you talking about
Hydra and
well?
Hydra and Scrap then? Because the way that I guess I maybe worded it wrong. So like, I hear you guys point about the First Bloods because he did have an insane year in First Blood, so they probably do get better in that regard. But I don't think like the change moves the needle enough to where like we look at this like, okay, if we make this change, like the argument you used for the Hook to Hydra thing, right? I would use actually in this instance, like, what if this just doesn't move the needle enough and it just ruins the team chemistry, right? For this one. But I think Hydra is a big enough upgrade to Hook that I would make that move. I don't think Scrap is as big of an upgrade. Like if we're trying to compare both of these moves to Abuza, as I would look at Hydra to Hook personally. So like if I was FaZe and that's what I was trying to do after winning champs, then I would probably just do the 2-person move. Then I would try to get both of them.
I don't personally. There's a lot of conversation about that. For some reason, I'm really high on 04 right now. Like it's still a conversation to be had. Do we pick up Hydra, generational, Scrap?
I'm high on 04 too. I love 04.
Would be a godlike team, but I do think 04, he wasn't the most consistent sub this year, but his impact in hardpoint, and then he had the greatest takeover potential in hardpoint. No one was able to slam OpTic like he was.
No, him and Abuza both had that aspect, like take over randomly. They both just take over again.
They did, but 04 did it more often, and it's like,
well, if it was
he was
Scar,
taking over in a hardpoint. Well, and then that map 4 winners finals versus OpTic, he dropped 44 and like 15 or.
You don't remember you don't remember the exposures earlier in the year where Abuza was just unfuckable. He had so many maps where he also just had 45 and 2 minutes in the hill. Like in respawn, he had some insane runs. Like the
big thing that I also look at is like long term too. Like Abuza, he's obviously pretty old. Like he's 26. I think he's still a great player. Deserves a minimum top 3 team. He's godlike. But 04 is what, 22 years old. Every single year, he's gotten better and better in this league.
Am I overrating Abuza? Am I on a different planet? I think Abuza's ridiculous. Like I legit.
Abuza's very. He's a top 5 AR in the game.
Like although I do think Scrap is better,
like a top 2. I think Scrap's like a top 2 since he's been in the CDL, if not the best in some games.
Like I don't know, dude. He just seems like an awesome teammate too. Like I feel like this guy is
for sure.
I think this
isn't like we're saying he is ass or anything. Like no one's roasting.
All right, so let me ask you, Ben.
Both FaZe and OpTic have difficult. These are not easy decisions they got to make here. We've had Rostermanias where people's decisions are very straightforward and sometimes they fuck it up. These two are hard choices. Go ahead, Ant.
Like, does it move the like a 1-for-1 change, Abuza for Scrap? Is that moving the needle enough for the risk that is potentially involved? I guess, and then also like is the juice worth the squeeze with that move in your opinion?
Yes,
personally, I think so.
I think so because I think you got to look at. I think for the sole fact that you look at OpTic and there is a very high floor with that team, that we haven't seen since the trio broke up, and I think you got to consider that if you want to be a consistent contender, you got to kind of match what they've got going on there, and I think Jordan's good. But I think you can get a more consistent pathway with Ernie. I do think that Ernie's got to work on, like whatever this issue is at champs. I don't know if it's a mental thing or not. Like he's got to perform better at the end of these seasons. But that's where 2-3 months Matt Fisher, I think you're probably chilling going into spring, and like that issue is probably solved. And by the way, FaZe have shown over the years, like they get a player in, they have weaknesses, they develop against that weakness, and all of a sudden that player is able to perform and win a ring. Like they've got a pretty good history of solving people's issues that come in with that.
I mean, I hear you. Like I said, I definitely see the aspect of the opening duel part. Like your search probably does get a little bit better. Yeah, but I would just probably go for the 2-for-2 move then. Like that, if this was a consideration, like, okay, Scrap, we think he's going to move the needle and make us a lot better, then fuck it. We need to just go get the duo and replace this current duo. Like, I feel like that should be, like, I wouldn't just settle for just Scrap then if I was FaZe. Personally, I would try to go for broke and get both of them. If we're already going to shake up a team that won champs, the team that went in and won champs and won another event, and search was like our only downside, then yes, I'm going
But,
for
like,
broke, and I'm making
why?
a huge
Well,
the double splash. If we're gonna do that.
Well, what's the reason though?
What's the reason for
For
what?
what?
Like, what's the actual reason to go for broke? Like, what do you see gameplay wise? What
Because-
do you see team chemistry wise? Like, except for they're two generational talents. We all know they're generational AR, generational sub players. But like, what's the reason that you see that the team would be so godlike?
Can I answer this one, Ant?
Sure.
It's very simple. Everything lined up for them this season, that iced up in big moments, but that's not like a guarantee that you're going to be able to do that again next season. You need to figure out how to be more consistent both online and LAN, because a lot of other teams are going to get better and shuffle, and you want to chase the pack on OpTic, and OpTic's not going to whiff on 5 fucking finals again. So if you're FaZe, like you got to follow the path and upgrade if you can. It's
Well,
very simple.
I was talking from the perspective of Dill. If we're sitting in the team room together, if Simp and Draza and the coaching staff are in the team room together, and they're like, all right, we're thinking about picking up Scrap and dropping a Booza, then if at that point, if you're already breaking up the champs team, that one champs, then I think you just go, let's take it a step further. If we're already risking it, because as soon as you make that decision to pick up Scrap for a Booza, you're already making the decision like, okay, we're trying to upgrade. We want to dominate, right? Like, we don't want to be rivals with OpTic. We want to dominate OpTic. That's part of that decision. So then you're like, okay, then if we want maximum upside, then we go for Hydra and Scrap. Like, that's how I would think about it in the room. I wouldn't just do the 1-for-1 then, right? Because I'm already thinking Abuza's godlike. Like that's the mentality.
It is very interesting to me that not a single fucking thing is leaked about what FaZe is trying to do. We are now on Friday, and I have not heard a lick of a rumor. And by the way, like, you guys
Also,
know I'm
to be
friends with,
clear,
I have no idea what they're doing.
To be clear, I'm not saying that's what they should do. We were just talking about the aspect of I said Abuza's very good. They're saying that you go and get Scrap. I'm just saying if you've made that decision, then that's where you would spin it into. You get what I'm saying, Dill, or no?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, for sure. But I just feel like FaZe has such a good thing going right now. Like, if they just get Scrap, they fix their S&D gets a little bit better. Like, they could already be dominating. It does change the dynamic, but still, a Simp, Hydra, Scrap, fucking Draza team just sounds like that's an actual super team.
Then why not go for Paco then? If you're doing that, why not go for Paco and him then, Dill?
I mean, if they want to do that, if they could afford everyone, obviously some players would have to take a little bit of pay cut to build that super kind of roster. But I mean, fuck it, it'd be entertaining to see that team go toe to toe with OpTic.
I've said this saying before in the show. You don't fix a leaky roof during a rainstorm. You fix it during a sunny day. I think FaZe you can consider is in a pretty sunny day situation. You gotta look at the market. The upgrades are there.
Ben, you ever been on a roof changing shingles? Matter of fact,
you're not going to do it in a fucking rainstorm.
Run that back.
About the saying, it's facts.
Actually, run that back. When's the last time your ass was even on a ladder, Ben?
Why the fuck would it be on a roof? Why would I be doing that? It's what other people to do.
When the last time you was on a ladder?
Hell. Like 6 months ago.
The hell were you doing on a ladder? Okay, fair enough.
I'll be changing light at my parents' house because, I'm trying to be a W son.
W son.
The point is, like, I think for FaZe, like, we haven't heard a lick of what they want to do. We've heard a bunch of bullshit about, like, the pimp is trying to get him and his boys paid. The Falcons is interested in the pimp, but he doesn't want to play with Exit. We haven't heard what FaZe want to do. And I also think, like, really, really honestly, I'm telling you guys in Rostermania, do not dismiss that FaZe may look at Mo as the future of their team and try to work him into the storyline.
I think that's crazy. I feel like
it's
that's
crazy,
insane.
But they might do it, bro. I think it's crazy, but they might do it.
But they wouldn't really lose an AR though. Like, because FaZe definitely is down to take risks. They're down to take risks, but like they're not losing. If they don't lose Draws and Abuza, like, why would you bring Mo in?
This isn't dynasty football, Ben. Like, these guys are still godlike. Like, it's not like you're projecting 4 years out. But you don't pick up a player and then go, he's gonna be on our team for 5 years. Like,
but now you're at your decision time of Mo, bro. He popped off this year. There's no shot they're gonna be able to get him to
champs.
Okay, can you listen to him? Can you let me finish real quick?
Yeah, sorry.
I don't think he signed like a 3-year deal, unless I'm mistaken. So I think he probably has 1 year left. If you loan him out, like, he's got to re-sign a new deal so that you get under your cost control after that. Like, so you're basically either using him or you're selling him. So I think you look at the last 2 events. To your point, yes, he was kind of running and dying a bit in search, which is, like, I think a fixable problem. He is someone that does have a lot of S&D experience. But the respawn takeover out of him was unbelievable against good teams, by the way, at Champs and EWC. So I think they've got a difficult decision because it's like Zach's a great player. And by the way, Drive showed up in big series on land pretty much all year.
Yes,
Bar
he did.
EWC, that guy was. It didn't matter if he's playing OpTic or he's playing fucking C9. Like he was in it on land. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough decision. What do you want to do? Because I think there is all-star level potential in Aluka. I genuinely believe that guy is disgusting. So tough choices, man. Real tough choices.
Yo.
Yeah, I probably have to see more out of him, to be honest, before I drop Draza for him. I can't lie. Like, Draza's a proven winner. He still grinds the hardest out of anyone. Him and Draza and Hook probably top 2 grinders in Pro COD. I don't know. There's literally no reason for them to pick up Aluka. And
but here's the problem, Dill.
He could be a top. What's the problem?
Here's the problem is if I were Mo, I'm not signing a new deal with FaZe. And if FaZe is not putting me in, sell me to General Mates, sell me to Thieves, who will happily take me because the AR market's soft. And if you're FaZe and he pans out, well, then you miss the opportunity to get that player in your roster. Unfortunately, I just think they got to either decide they're going to either use him or lose him, bro.
Well, yeah, but they're just going to sell him. That's a win-win.
Yeah, but that's...
Yeah, and then you go sell him to another team, and he pops off an all-star potential at Generates and fucking Thieves. And they
okay,
win
or
chips.
you could pick up Aluka, and he's a dud in the next game, and then Draza's still godlike.
I think FaZe's talent. When has FaZe ever picked up someone that turned out to be a dud? I mean, with Austin was probably their weakest year. They still won a championship with Austin. You know.
I'm just saying. That, they've never you're in the business of what ifs right now, and this team just won champs, and to risk it and bringing in Aluka is crazy.
Unfortunately, they're making tough decisions, and you got to be in the business of what ifs. You can't dismiss it. That's
but you can mitigate risk. You can mitigate risk for sure.
Well, I have a question though. For you guys. If for kind of what Ben's saying, if FaZe is worried about Aluka long term, the big plan for them this offseason should be able to get players, because assuming all their players are under contract from the previous season, they're all this next season after him to before they'll be unrestricted free agents. So shouldn't FaZe this year try to go out? This could help your argument, Nameless, a little bit. Get the Hydra, get the Scrap.
Yeah.
Because if you have those 2 players, people are going to want to play with those guys, or just Scrap, because a Scrap Simp sub duo, people are going to want to join that team to play with them. So that would actually help secure their future more, in my opinion, than just keeping Aluka. Because Aluka could pan out to be one of the best ARs we've ever seen in the CDL. Who knows? Maybe one day. But right now, you have a player in Scrap that could just join your team, and then you keep him under contract for 2 years instead of having to rebuild next season.
Yeah, and you're giving another player out that's also proven that's going to make another team better, more than likely, right? So effectively your competition gets a lot better. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's an easy decision for FaZe. You have this guy, people want him, you sell him, make some money, and then you can go after the Scrap if you really want.
Well, let's move on and talk about General Mates and Falcons, because I think they're in sitting with either 1 or 2 players, and they're sitting here waiting for what are OpTic and FaZe going to do, and they just sitting on their hands, just hoping things break their way. They're in weird spots in this Rostermania.
To me, if you're Falcons, right, you got one choice you can make where it's just let's just go buy Aluka, right? The year ended pretty good. Go and get Aluka exited the future. Salim's obviously under contract. And you could entertain or replace it for Kiz, but I probably wouldn't, because Kiz played really, really good. Where are you guys at with Falcons? If you go after the Scrap and the deal is even somewhat comparable from FaZe, he's probably just going to go to the team that's he feels can win more, right? So obviously they're going to be in these sweepstakes because they have money. But sorry, you do. What are your thoughts on Falcons? And if you were the manager or GM, how would you approach this offseason?
Well, first, it's the manager GM doesn't really control anything at this org. It's what the actual owners want to do. So it depends. Do they want to go out there and maybe they want to build that super team like they build in every single game, where they buy the biggest name players, the best teams, and do that. They kind of did that in COD. They wanted to get Pred, pay him a lot of money. They want to get Celium, pay him a lot of money. But then they still kept Exton on the team for the Saudi representation. So it's either you got a full commit. Are you going to build around Exton and play, just have Saudi representation? Or in COD, are you going to try to build that God squad? And that's maybe what they're doing right now.
They're not going to drop Exton, Dill. No way.
If they get Simp, and then maybe they try to have a Simp, Celium, buy or pay Scrap, pay Hydra. They just need to figure out what their team identity is, because there's 2 ways they can go. If they're going all out money moves, yes, you have Celium, Simp, Scrap, Hydra with the FaZe coaching staff. what the easier thing to probably do is just buy out a Luca, have Xnid sell, maybe you replace one for Kismet. Kismet's still really good though, but it just doesn't seem like Falcons want to keep having a losing team in Call of Duty. Like they want to be competing for chips. And the fact that they're showing interest in Simp kind of shows that like, okay, maybe it is time. This is the perfect opportunity. Last offseason, you couldn't really get anyone too crazy that's going to win you chips. Now, who knows? Maybe you can get Simp. He's taking phone calls. His agent's taking phone calls. Scrap and Hydra, unrestricted free agents as well.
The report I read, though, said that like Simp, it was like Simp there, but he wouldn't team with Xnid, which makes sense in my head, right? Like,
yeah, if they get Simp, Xnid's gone. Xnid's gone if they get Simp.
Yeah. So but I don't think they'll get rid of Xnid. So I just feel like that's out of the question. Like, based on
I think they will if they want to win right now.
I got some intel. So I think what Falcons have done in the last 48 hours, like everybody else, has kind of talked to the key players here. And I think all of them are interested in joining, but they all did the same thing, which is I think they all like Saud. I don't think anyone dislikes Saud. They see Saud as a development player, and all three of those guys, Paco, Scrap, Simp, like they want to compete for championships, and Saud is not there yet. And so Falcons, I think, internally need to have a conversation here in this critical, probably next 12 hours, kind of less, of like, okay, are we down to loan Saud out? We still want to keep him under the org because he's our guy, but like let's get him play time on like a G2 or somewhere else where we trust their development, but it's not in our situation, and we can build the super team. And this will get really interesting because then Falcons are, I think, going to offer the biggest bag, and it'll get kind of weird. If they don't do that, then for Falcons, MC and Xnid, I think they're going to be looking at the second or third tier of free agents, your Rencors, your Dan Ghosties, and those will be the guys that you'll be able to convince to come because you'll pay more than your G2s, your Thieves, your fourth spot on Gentlemates, and you'll be able to build a good team, but not like the super team. So I think they're thinking about it. From my understanding, like I think Falcons have approached everybody and they've told them all the same thing, and they need to make a decision about which track they're going to go down here.
Yeah,
are you thinking it too?
Thinking
what's up?
Well, I was thinking like where was the intel?
Yeah. The
intel for y'all is that they've talked to everybody. That's the intel. Like, there's not like, oh, we just
we know.
They've talked to everybody, but the thing is, they've all gotten this. They've gotten the same answer about everybody. So the intel is they are having a convo internal about what to do here.
Well, I can tell you this.
Let me finish it though, because unfortunately for them, Xnid developed this season, but for example, he was nowhere to be found in that third place match against Thieves. They got off to a 3-0 start. He played horrible the last 4 maps. So you sit here and they're like, there's great things about Xnid, but he was statistically one of the worst search players in the league this year. He is not ready yet. And what do we want to get out of this spot? Because we have an opportunity here to get a lot of the top guys. Simp obviously is locked in, so you're going to have to buy him out. That's going to require M's. That's a bit crazy. But Paco and Scrap, you could theoretically get for free, pay them a lot of money, but then MC, Scrap, Paco, and one, like you can figure that out.
Yeah, but
they've got to decide.
You say you can figure that out, but that's a huge caveat for those guys. What sub can they get then? If MC,
they can have mostly anybody.
Ooh, like who though? To where it would trump the alternative destinations. Like if Gentlemates were to offer those guys, or if FaZe were to compete with those guys, and Falcons offered you like a decent bag. At least
have Joe.
Exactly. So what other sub can you get on Falcons to bring those guys in?
You just need a complimentary sub for Paco. So
but he's not going to want to do that, Ben. Why would he want to do that? If you're Paco, it would have to be an Megalodon bag.
I mean, listen. I think Ernie and Paco go to the team with MC if they were all getting paid $500K a month. It's got to find a fourth player who's not a shitter.
$500K a month.
Sure, they.
It has to be more than that.
Gentlemate's offer would be good.
I don't think.
Okay, so let's say it's higher, but the point is like I think they would do it if the competition was right, and they could definitely get a good fourth. They don't need like Simp to be the fourth there to have a championship.
No, dude, you're not.
Nah, they do.
Yes, they do, bro. Yes, they do
need a Simp. They minimum need Simp and Joe Deceives to be a championship team this season. There's no other sub they can get that will make them a championship team.
Look at the options they have. It's a non-starter.
Who's the sub then?
If you say put Toby as their fourth, you think
they're not doing that. I don't think Scrap thinks Toby and Jamie are good.
I think the other teams FaZe and OpTic are still clear them.
I think they'd be on the level of those teams. I think
I do not think so. I think they're close, and they maybe beat them.
They're not doing
consistently. OpTic and FaZe would beat them 8 out of 10 times probably.
They're not.
I think you're gassing it so heavy.
That team would be worse than
their Scrap and MC on their team. Like, you think they've got shitter 1, 2, and 3? Like, what am I hearing right now?
Yeah, but you'd be going from Thieves.
Oh my god! Like,
you're going up against FaZe and OpTic, who are Ben. Do you think
they're good teams?
How much better do you think that team, this Falcons roster, the theoretical one you have with CleanX and Celium, how much better do you think they are than like the Thieves this year?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Do you think what do you think about Abizi and CleanX? Because that's like the real answer. And then Celium and obviously Neum.
I think Cell's better than Neum. Obviously, Paco and Scrap are the same team. And I think Toby and Tyler. I think Tyler was probably better than Toby at the end of this year. But I still think on like an elite team like that, Toby's giving you a good shift. By the way, he's already won LAN events in his fucking career. So like, it's not like he's sitting on 0. I think they would still be good enough to challenge OpTic and FaZe. I think they'd be a great search team, you know?
Yeah, but Ben, if your options are Gentlemates or them. I think you need
MC to make sure that he's moving and grooving as that flex player in that squad, but I think they'd be fine.
If your options are Gentlemates and Falcons, and you're going to literally become the messiah of a whole country, and you're getting paid, I don't know, 100K less, 200K less, with the amount of money that's in these tournaments, it is in your best interest to try to win, bro.
This is the tricky conversation though, Ant, because Falcons, okay, OpTic, Hector and them have a lot of money. FaZe, Paul and the Cox guys have a lot of money. Gentlemates, Gotaga, and they have outside investors have a lot of money. But Falcons have ties to the Saudi royal family. They've got a oil well deep of a bag over there. And if the difference in salary comp between Mates and Falcons is 450, 500K, is a totally different conversation. And if they're getting paid dumb money, you know what I'm saying? That's why, like, if Falcons decide, you know what, we're down to move on from Exit being the starting lineup next year, this is going to get even weirder.
Well, yeah, if you want to use that, if they're going to pay them $1 million more, then yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it would have to be, I feel like definitely more than minimum. I would probably say for Scrap and Hydra to join this team without teaming with like a simp, without, if they do that God.
It'd have to be a gazillion. Yeah.
It would probably have to be like, they're both on 700 minimum. Like, it'd be like a Celium type shit, where whatever he was paid 700-800, where they won the whole year already. Like, it would have to be, Celium would be on 700-800, Scrap, Hydra would all be on 700-800 as well, and then their fours whoever.
Celium's just gotta pull up in the fucking Phantom and be like, "Come over here, it's good vibes over here."
They were willing. I think last year it was reported they were willing to buy out Ernie for $1 million, right? There's the thing with Falcons is like it's very tricky because like they could really, to your point, swing it to that number, and then it's an interesting combo. But I think first we got to understand if XN is in or out of this conversation first. That's the key thing, because if he's still in it, then there's an irrelevant conversation.
He's a lock,
if he's not a lock, then this shit's gonna get even weirder than I thought, and we're gonna get no resolution until the end of next week. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I feel like Falcons are gonna keep Exit, and they're just gonna go buy Luca. And also Scrap and Hydra, I have the feeling those guys just want to win. Like, so I think it's like FaZe, Gentlemates, or OpTic for all of them. But I guess we'll just have to let it play out.
Mo's going around telling people that he doesn't think he's going to be on Falcons next year. So,
hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. All right, so let's talk about Gentlemates. So it feels kind of easy if you're Gentlemates, right? You go after those two guys. Like, you got to invest all your money to Hydra, right? Like, to me, that's like the easiest decision in the world. And I would imagine if you're Paco, like, that's a desirable location. Kick it over to you, Dill. If you're Gentlemates, what are your moves? And then what's your pivot after Paco? Because the easy one is like, go after Paco.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough part for Gentlemates. I think they might have thought they were like gonna get Paco guaranteed. And now they're kind of realizing like, oh shit, it's not just gonna be this easy. Like, Paco doesn't just want to insta go to Gentlemates, which they would love. But the thing is, if Paco doesn't go to Gentlemates, then Scrap probably doesn't go to Gentlemates. The only way Gentlemates could get, because the AR market's really dry right now. So if Scrap goes to FaZe, then maybe, and if Paco doesn't go to OpTic, then they could get like a booze up Hydra with Joe Deceives. That's just the tough part for Gentlemates right now. I think they thought they were gonna have a lot more like pull and power in this. So when it comes to money, I think Falcons might be willing to spend some more money. Then when it comes to like players that people want to team with, all those players are on OpTic. Hydra, obviously, his first pick is OpTic. And then there's also FaZe, who's available. Just won champs. They have Simp, you know? So it's tough for Gentlemates. They might just end up with like a Joe, a Booza, because I don't know. Like if Scrap does go to FaZe and Paco can't get on OpTic, I think Scrap or Hydra will be like, yo, let me get on FaZe with you. So at that point, Gentlemates would have to build like Joe, 04, Abuza, which would be an insane team, and then maybe buy out like an Aluka player.
I could see that happening actually, though. That's actually not a bad shout. So do we don't think like Sib probably ends up on that rumored Surge team, right? So I
don't think Sib is on Gentlemates unless Gentlemates just can't get anyone. So it's maybe like Joe, Rencor, maybe a.
I don't think Joe and Rencor are teaming. Don't think Joe and Rencor are teaming.
Nep is done with Gentlemates,
and I don't think Rencor's teaming with. I don't think Joe and Rencor are teaming.
Well, they're gonna build like the best of the rest, like mid-pack team, which is like a 4th, 5th place team. That's kind of what they'd be able to build.
Here's my concern with mates is like. Here's my concern with mates is when you start doing that, then team chemistry gets a little bit weird. And we saw last year, like they could not wrangle the personalities in that room. Yeah, they pivoted with the Joe thing, but still didn't result in them really being a threat to FaZe or OpTic. So I think their fans are going to be disappointed with that strategy, and they better have a better plan on how to make sure that we're all single-minded and executing things as a team. Because last year, bro, I listen. All I'll say is there's a lot that everybody in the scene knows about what was going on in that camp, and none of it is pretty, and a lot of it is not public. That room was a fucking mess in the spring. And that is why they made those moves. It was an absolute mess. That's why you saw Neptune get benched. That's why you saw Joe come in. That's why you saw them, move on from Envoy. They were trying to clean that up and be really competitive for Major 4 champs EWC. They really want to win. It's just tough because I think FaZe and OpTic kind of control the top end of it, but they're gonna have to make smart moves.
They're in a hard spot.
That's the rest team.
Yeah,
Gentlemates are in a harder spot than I thought. Like if you don't get Hydra, then you're getting like these guys who are you kind of need to get. Like let's say, like you said, Dill, the hypothetical, if they go to FaZe, and then you're 0-4 and Abuza, you can like ask them for a lot. You know what I mean? So then you're paying a bag for like the number one options that you weren't really even like wanting.
And Falcons might be there too. Like Falcons might be driving up the number for those players because I'm sure they would probably want 0-4 and Abuza if that were to happen.
And you got to come out strong.
Abuza, yeah. I mean, it could go either way. So Gentlemates, they could end up with a really good team or just a similar team to how they ended this past year.
Yeah, it's weird because I think they may, to your point, find over the same players as Falcons, and that's going to be real tough for them.
Yeah.
If it ends up being Scrap and Paco to FaZe, though, bro, it's going to be FaZe OpTic all year.
Like, every year-end finals? Literally every year-end finals.
Yeah. And then
can I address the Neptune thing real quick in chat?
Yes, please.
The reason that you're not hearing Nep
I'll go get some water real quick. I'll be right back.
Nep is on the list as a second or third option for a bunch of squads from what I've heard. So it's not like his stock is bad. I just think like he's going to come into play once these teams get desperate because they need a SMG player and he's just the next person on the list. But again, we've said all throughout the spring and summer, he's got to get on whatever team he's gone on and be a plus teammate because like the Gentlemates situation was real bad. It is not a good sign when Dylan Envoy, who's a respected player, goes on Twitter and says you were the worst teammate I've ever had. That is red flags everywhere in the league because people would really trust his opinion on a topic like that.
Yeah, I could kind of see this shaking out. Yeah, have you heard anything since then about Neptune? Like, has he done anything to address the situation that Gentlemates are in, or like his mentality, I guess? Because I haven't heard too much. I heard what Envoy said, and then that's it. Since then,
well, like Net publicly talking about it.
Yes.
I don't really think he said much. Like, I think he talked about it in a couple days after the whole situation, and he walked back some of the things that he said. I'm trying to remember. I think he said he definitely wanted to work on,
do him and Sib have beef?
I think so. Yeah. That's why the Surge team is crazy to me because like it's just I don't see how him and Dante are going to run that back.
I mean, I could see.
I'm not sure.
They need a Rembo, Ray, or accuracy to get this team.
No, Ray. This is a bad team. This is not a Ray team. This is a Lamar team. If I've seen anything.
Yeah, they
Ray,
need.
Lamar's gonna have to come out of retirement.
Listen. Ray is gonna exceed in like a Toronto Koi, Kleenex Kips, Ethan DK situation. When Ray can like take young players with raw talent and teach them the fundies of COD and get them to really believe in one idea. That's the Rambo Ray thing. The Ray thing is like you put Ray in a room with a bunch of egos, like that's a tough already for people to manage. That's not really the Ray style of how he wants things to happen. So, but this Vancouver thing should not happen. I think Pred, Sib, Skies, that whole conversation that got leaked yesterday, that is great for Vancouver because they're gonna have a relevant team. It is bad for all three of those players.
Wait, can we pivot real quick? Because as I'm going through this roster builder thing, like Thieves, let's say, do we think that obviously they're gonna have a BZ? Do you think they keep Neum or no?
Yes.
So they probably keep Neum, and then what do you do if you're Thieves? You're in a rebuild, right? So like,
correct.
Like what are your options? Your Estriol's restricted, so you'd have to buy him. But I do think Estriol is a good option here. I actually like Estriol on Koi or Thieves. I like it in both places.
He may stay on Gentlemates too. It depends on what happens with FaZe. I could see them not moving on from Estriol.
Well, I think Kremp, we talked about Kremp in the last episode chat, and I think Kremp is still under contract, right? So
yeah, but I don't think it'd be expensive to buy him out. I think G2 would sell if a good offer came. So like putting him on Thieves, I can see Thieves pivoting and picking up Kyle again.
I tweeted to Kremp and I was like, it's time to reunite with Ghosty. He liked the tweet. So I could just see him joining G2. And then, I mean, obviously they had some success together. And then them figuring out from there, maybe keeping Envoy. And then I don't know who you go with from there. But I could definitely see that. I could see this being the core of G2 with one, depending on how the dominoes fall. It's going to be really interesting, though. Like I think the base level of like the middle of the pack teams, if the top talent all like congregates on these top three teams, I could definitely see the middle of the pack getting a little bit better.
Yo, the Thieves fans have the worst offseason, bro.
Yeah, they do.
Know they're probably losing Scrap and Hydra, and they know they're probably gonna. It's like they can still build a good team, but it's gonna be a rebuild year for like them. Like it's just from what they had to what they're gonna be stressing because it could be like maybe a Neptune, maybe a Kleenex, maybe a
Remcore, or something like that.
Maybe buying a Luca. Like it's just gonna be weird for the Thieves fans.
Yeah, we're the Thieves fans in the chat. Yo, say what up if you're a Thieves fan in the chat. That's what your roster's gonna look like going into 2027.
Nah, they're not getting the GOAT. They're not getting the GOAT.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, no, there's gonna be some room for some of these teams to make some moves in the middle as well. Like I said, I think G2 can probably field a pretty solid roster if they go and grab Ghosty, Kremp. I think they should keep Kremp if you're G2. But other than that, we could talk about Toronto a little bit. I think we can do some call-ins though, because I know Dill, you had a big
we talk about this? Toronto's we talk about Vancouver. Do either of you like this Vancouver thing?
No, I think this team is going to be awful.
Yeah, I think they're going to hate each other. I don't think it's really going to work, but I think it might be similar to Gentlemates Major One, where like they start off hot. This team is going to be so up and down. Like they're going to get 12th in an event, and then maybe they make a top 3 run, and then next event they're getting 12th again. Yeah. Like that's literally what's going to happen. It's just what happens on the weekend.
Yeah,
why do you think those players are gravitating towards each other so quick in this Rostermania?
Because they just want to kill shit. They just spent a whole year on all their respective teams, like probably looking at 1 or 2 guys on their team, like, damn, can you get some more kills? I know these types of players. Dill's teamed with these types of players, bro. It's just how it is. And at times, like, you get in that mentality. You're like, bro, like, we're talking about all this stuff. Just get a couple more kills and we'll win. And I deadass think all 3 of these guys think that way. No bullshit.
Including Caesar?
Well, I don't know about not Caesar. I mean, Caesar's probably just taking what he can get, honestly, at this point, if we're being honest. Is that the rumored fourth?
I don't know. Caesar? I feel like this Surge team, like, am I crazy? I feel like Pred would be better joining, like, another team and Sib also. Like, maybe Sib gets on, like, a Thieves rebuild or a Toronto at some point, depending on what is available, or even a Neptune, like. But together, I don't know. I think they might just, if they are truing up and trying to build this already, it's because these players know they're not getting on like the OpTics, the FAZEs, probably the Gentlemates or the Falcons. So they're like, yo, fuck it, let's just build something quick. Because other than that, they have to wait. They start gonna have to wait for Rostermania, but they know like they're not in control of this offseason.
Bro, this team
Well,
would be
yeah, that's fair.
absolutely pissed at S&D. Like,
Yeah, which is what cooks them. Well, remember the old Seattle team? Y'all remember
Yeah.
MW2?
I
And
don't know. Look at
they
the
went on
old
a whole
Seattle
season to win
team's
an S&D.
placings, bro.
Yeah,
Look
I
at the
know,
old
Dill.
Seattle's placings. It was
It's-
12th, 3rd, 12th, 1st, 12th. Like it was just, it was the most inconsistent shit ever.
Just bipolar placings, and that's the problem with these guys. Man, like I see again, I think you guys all make good points, and it's why it's happening because it's just the most convenient option for all three of them. But
well, they just know like if we can lock in, we have enough talent. So they're just talent hoarding at this point, and it's just easy.
Yeah.
it's just so odd to me because like I'll keep it a stack. I heard a lot of internal disagreements last time Dante and Caesar played. That team was not on the same page.
Why? Wait, where's this rumor from? Because I feel like they wouldn't have Caesar.
That's from a few years ago. That was from a few years ago.
No, I'm saying
this. New York?
This rumored roster. Where did you see this at?
So Ronnie
right here.
tweeted
This
that
was like the
AG's
first one to leak.
I have it right
This was
here.
like the first
Yeah,
one.
I had it
It's
open.
right
I
there.
forgot. But I just don't know how
Neptune's not on this one.
how Caesar's the option here. I don't think he's.
I think because it's just convenience. I think what's going on here, Benji conspiracy theory. Vancouver want to make a better team and don't want to see her in waiting Rostermania. AG and Dante are not tier 1 options for any one of these teams. Neither is Caesar. You put the three together, get a fourth, and you can get your shit done by the middle of August, and you're not waiting for everybody else.
If we're gonna lean into this,
last year too.
if we're gonna lean
Better
into,
than last year.
yeah,
It can't be worse.
It's better than last year, but like
that's true.
there's a lot of risk with this roster, which you guys have highlighted. Like they may want to kill each other by February.
I would just lean into it and go Rancor. Then fuck it. We're just all playing for kills at this point. Like scrims are gonna
play TDM, bro.
Yeah,
We're playing
like-
TDM. We don't give a fuck.
Yo, that'd be so fun to watch, like hilarious to watch. Rencor, Sib, Neptune, Pred. Oh my god.
They should stream. No. If that happens, that's a team that just stream every one of your scrims, bro.
Yo.
Oh,
you
they're
guys,
gonna-
because your team might break up, but bro, y'all are gonna. They'd be like who was like the big crash out team that people used to watch back in the day, like
It'd be like a phase.
Fariko, bro.
Yeah, Fariko, yeah.
Fariko, bro, they crash outs on streamers.
But there would be the one day of the week, like the one league match of the week, like where they just blitz their opponent. Like they will have matches like that where it's like, oh my god, everybody's a 2.0
Yeah, no,
today.
this team would like dominate phase or Gentlemates one match. And
Yeah.
God, like the next match they lose to Carolina or some shit. They get Nestled by Carolina the next day.
Yeah, they'd literally be
That team
like
would be, bro.
a 500 roster, but they all have 1.2s. That's
You know,
literally what I look at.
hey, you know what we need?
What?
They stream their scrims, but there's like a cam in the top right of their room that you could like. That's the one that streams the scrims too, so you can hear them and then see them when they're about to get in a fight. There will be punches and pushes thrown multiple times this year with this team. 100%.
Yo, imagine being the coach of this team though. Oh my god, that'd be work.
Fuck.
That'd be a lot of work. You'd have
I'm
to
bringing
figure it out.
gloves. I'm bringing boxing gloves. All right, he didn't rotate. All right, handle it then. Figure it out. That's really what they're gonna do. That's really what they're gonna do.
It's just ISO ball. Yeah, I could see them making this team though. It's funny we're joking about it, but like this could end up legitimately being the roster. Like actually, because Rencor I saw is unrestricted, right? Rencor and Super.
Yeah.
So like
The only issue with that is Nep is under contract with Gentlemates, so he would require a buyout. But it could be one of those things where nobody wants to buy him out, and then Gentlemates have no leverage and they just let him walk.
Yep, because they got to spend a lot of money already, right? If they're making these huge moves. So
yeah, so we'll see. But I listen, if that Vancouver team happens, it'll be great entertainment. I'm just begging for the sake of those players, they don't do it.
I just want it to happen because Surge has been a dog shit franchise. So like I want them to like actually have a team that can win some games.
But this is just a Seattle team again. Like they're gonna win and they'll also get fucking 12th. Like it's sure, okay.
So Koi then. So we already talked about Thieves rebuild. Probably, I mean, if you're Thieves, probably do what you did 2 years ago, right? Or whatever it was 3 years ago. Like dip down in the challengers, grab a couple guys. If you miss out on like the A tier, like the next tier players. But if you're Koi, what are you doing here if you're Koi? Because obviously Insight's probably gone. Abe, I don't think he played well enough to earn a starting spot going into the new year. You're kind of in a rough spot for Koi. Especially,
I think there's a lot of potential here.
Is there?
To be honest, if they want to spend the money, though, like they're gonna have to spend a little bit more. Because I mean, Kips and Kleenex is a great starting spot. You can go for you tell one of the Surge teams like, yo, it'll be a lot more calm over here and we could still probably be a team and build chemistry and be better. Don't go do that Neptune or don't go do that Rencor. Join us instead. Or I feel like in Koi fashion, they'll probably get some European players like an Ethan or a DK. Would not surprise me at all on this team. That's like Koi fashion in my opinion.
I could see that. Yeah. I feel like that's the way they'll go.
Yeah. But I think maybe just one of them. I don't know if they get both because I think Kleenex and Kips want like what they need one more like confirmed shooter. They need like a Neptune. That's someone that could get a damn kill or a Rencor, someone that can get a damn kill. And then you bring like DK or Ethan as the fourth.
Well, are we looking at this different? Is there a world where either the Thieves team or the Koi team go like, all right, we're going to full rebuild and like let both our players into the market or like sell them to the other party? That's not a situation that could happen.
No. I think they'll rely on Tyler, the coaching staff, to help build Slaying Thieves and give us one more season. And for Toronto, I think
Abizi's in the blend.
Why would you say Toronto, bro? Like, Toronto is in both, but both teams are in great positions. If they sign the right players, like they are the dark horse squads for next year.
Damn, why did Abizi sign that contract, bro?
I mean, he was teaming with Scrap and Hydra for a year. He figured like, hey, maybe we win a chip, win champs, they stay. But Abizi's going from the FaZe trio to Scrap and Hydra to shit. Good players still, but like the mid pack, like the B tier players.
Yeah, dude, that's a. I mean, the year was solid enough, but that's a rough situation, like contract to be in for a player of his like stature and his, the last couple of years, what he's done.
But what if it? Where else would he have gone in an offseason? Toronto?
No, it's true, but maybe you could have finessed a different contract, like have it expire with those guys, because the Thieves
there was no shot.
The Thieves were as desperate for him as they were, right? For like as he was to join them, right? So I don't know. I think
maybe they sell him.
Well, they had Scrap and Hydra too, so that was like, yo, come join Thieves. We have Scrap and Hydra as well, so that makes the decision a lot easier. But now it's like, okay, you're the one that has to rebuild now. Let's see what you could do. Do you get a Kremp? Do you get a Kleenex? Do you get a Rencor? Do you get a Ghosty back? Do you like who knows?
He had leverage though. He got. If that situation, he had leverage and I don't think he used it. I don't know the situation all the way. So if you're watching, you can call me out my shit. But I feel like looking at it from the information that I have, like he had leverage and he probably shouldn't have signed a 2-year personally. But either way, that's the situation that he's in.
Poor Tyler, man.
For real. I mean, maybe they can figure it out. Like if they're willing to spend a little bit.
Yeah. This would be a team that needs to get like an Aluka.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. If they can get like an Aluka, then maybe you salvage this year going into it.
Yeah.
Who else though? Is there anyone else?
Aluka Kremp.
You can go back to Ghosty. You could go get Ghosty again. But
I don't like a Neum Ghosty AR duo, to be honest.
Yeah, neither do I. It's not like powerful enough.
Well, you have one of them and then you have an Aluka or something.
Aluka Kremp is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all those like that tier of players that are like good. Maybe an Estriel.
Yeah,
like those guys are good, but you're gonna have tough matches versus the top 2, top 3 teams.
Yeah, and then Abizi's just gonna be checked, bro. And this is how the career spirals.
Yeah.
This is
not
how
trying in scrims.
Yeah.
Abizi gets randomly benched in the year because we're like, wait, why did Abizi get benched?
Yeah.
He was the best. Oh, he wasn't trying. He wasn't showing up. Like
he's gonna have to take the reins here. He's got to do something. He's got to build it in his image. All right, let's start these call-ins. I'm gonna link it in the chat.
Oh man,
I love Rostermania, and all the players probably hate it.
Oh yeah, they're stressing. They just want to, especially the mid pack and low tier ones. Like they're just waiting. They're just sitting there waiting. Like at least we get to sit here and yap on stream. They're just sitting there stressed. Like, am I gonna get a team? Am I not gonna get a team?
Yeah, like if you're Estro, like you're sitting there like,
decision.
I was fucking ripping. Like I've been frying. Like the phone's not ringing. You're just waiting for Hydra. That's the worst shit.
Got to wait for the top 3 to top 4 to figure it out.
Dang, we got a lot of call-ins. Ben, I didn't get your take on the BZ thing. If you're a BZ, what are you doing here though? Before we start this.
I think having an honest conversation with Thieves about, listen, like depending on what breaks with Gentlemates and Falcons and Thieves, like if there's a better situation for me and I want to go there, like, are you guys open to letting me walk? If they say yes, then you're playing all the field, seeing all the offers. If it's no, then you got to recruit and build and like find a gritty squad. We've seen teams in the position that Thieves have been in. Remember a couple of years ago, they made that Dango C Joe Deceives nasty team, and by the end of the year, they were a top 3 team in the game. So it's a long season. Anything can happen.
What up, gang? This might just be the squad. If that happens, this might be. See, that would be the enticing thing right there. Like if it's 100, 200K more, like not the millions like Ben was saying, but the 4th is Abe, then
my God,
talking different.
Yeah, Falcons is like, listen, we can't get you Sim, but we'll get you a BZ.
That might be enough.
Handful for Clay.
That might be enough.
I've seen MC and Tyler together. That's the trolley ass fucking duo. Good luck, Clay. I'm wishing you the best dealing with those 4.
I'm telling you though, like, because it will take that SMG to be good, you know, like that to me, that's like the caveat there. So it's like
I could
Tyler played an elite level the last few months of the season, bro.
I could see a BZ definitely trying to, like, he's probably telling Thieves like, yo, like, just let me go, bro.
Hear me out.
Let me get bought out by someone.
These are possibilities right here. Like,
nah, we're still. Scav and Hydra, bro, they want to either join FaZe or OpTic. Like 1 or 2 of them is joining FaZe or OpTic. If those teams make a change, like they're going to end up with Simp at least.
All right, we got to rip through these. We got 20 minutes, and I don't know if we can get through all of them. So we're starting it right now.
All right.
I got still.
How are y'all?
I got like 20 minutes.
Yep, 20 minutes. Yep,
all right, so here I'm gonna real quick ask the question because basically I know how to solve the entirety of the esport. So the whole thing going on in Rostermania every year is just Rubik's cubing, right, guys? So like the whole thing is just like top 4 guy go here, this guy go there, right? That's not the case no more. I have the solve. So let me ask this. If Call of Duty permanently retired the yearly $70 game release model and instead moved to a single permanent client where the CDL meta rotated every season using legacy engine presets, weapon vaults, map pools, and backed by an automated in-game Fortnite-style open cup pipeline, would that finally give us the competitive stability, definitive anti-cheat, and multi-generational pro sport structure this franchise has been missing for a decade?
Did you get ChatGPT to generate this?
No. So I'll be honest.
AI slob.
I'll be honest.
That's not bad, but they're losing. But money talks.
Yeah.
No, because the $70 model actually restricts the money made from the cosmetics, which is why the games right now like Fortnite and Valorant are so huge, because the majority of their money made is made on content that is held for years. So
yeah, but they had to carry forward for like 2 years. COD had carry forward for like 2 years. Look, I think Microsoft's, to answer your question, Microsoft, when they acquired Activision, it leaked about 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm making a joke that they were looking at all the models for Call of Duty because they wanted to be open-minded. That included potentially going away from the yearly release. We haven't really gotten much news on that, and I would be surprised at some point they do it. But to Dale's point, like the biggest entertainment launch every year is Call of Duty.
Yep.
They make a lot of money off a launch. They would have to make sure the economics make sense because they're a public company. They can't justify taking a $1 billion fucking bath if they pivot away just to, fix the Call of Duty League.
And just look at the old COD games. They re-released the same game. What did that sell? 8 million copies of BO2 and then like a couple more million of BO1.
But that supports what I'm saying, because if you intertwine the systems together in a one client like that, you don't alienate the casuals and the competitive players. They can exist simultaneously, and while they make money, because it's going to work like Fortnite, Valorant, and Counter-Strike, where it stays on one system and the monetary value is made through cosmetics.
I'm just not sure like competitive is as valuable as you think it is.
Okay, Fortnite's of, bro, you cannot compare COD to free-to-play games. That is not going to end well.
Why not?
Okay, why? League of Legends, Fortnite, free-to-play games. You don't have to pay $70, but it's soon going to be $80 and $90 the barrier entry to play a title, bro.
No, the barrier to entry is already bad enough. It needs to go free to play so that the entire scene can grow. Competitive can grow and casual can grow based on that. Because
so are you going to make that case to the massive majority of holders of stock of Microsoft saying, yeah, we're going to eat $1 billion off the rip with the hope that we make $4 billion in a couple of years?
The only franchise that has that level of potential is this one. It's the only one begging for that.
Ben has met his match.
Yeah, so you're gonna go to the Wall Street hedge fund firms and the VC equity money that own and other large entities that own parts of Microsoft to make that pitch. Good luck for you, brother. I hope you succeed, man.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, but it's one that's going to happen probably in the future, and me presenting this is just putting it out into the universe, and I really appreciate your guys' response, but it's probably going to be the future, and I hope
thanks.
It's not
thank you, Chair.
It's not a bad take. It's like a perfect
perfect world take. Yeah, it's just unrealistic.
We wish it would happen too, but we don't control that shit, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Just letting you guys know, the 3 things you guys did say though, like, are all counterable, and I think they'll realize it. And once you guys see me, you'll see you guys. Just letting y'all know.
I fucking hope so. Please.
Yo,
I hope
that
it
guy's
happens.
hubris is insane.
Thank you,
I'd love that guy
I
and
would
Ben to
love
just
for that
yeah.
to happen. Everyone would love for that to happen. I would love for Activision to care about COD, but I don't know if that's ever gonna happen.
I think they care. It's just not to that degree. Like that's
Well, they
my
care
guess-
a little bit, barely.
My
but-
guess is the soonest we would see a Call of Duty just be a single title would be the launch of the new Xbox. They would time it with that and make that the anchor game on the launch of the new console, and that would reboot the whole thing.
all right. What's up, buddy? How we doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Huge fan, especially of OpTic Attach over there.
Thank you. Hey, 2-0 this week.
My main question is, how do you, as OpTic, look at the potential FaZe roster and see Hydra and Scrapper most likely do? I think most people agree on that. If they go to FaZe, how do you have the potential of getting Hydra and be like, okay, no, we're good. We got Ben Simmons. I'm not saying who gets Ben Simmons, but like you get
You're okay, LeBron. We got Ben Simmons.
You get what I'm saying though, is that you have an obvious, like, it's an obvious upgrade. It like comms
No, that's what we were saying earlier. Like
it's a really obvious upgrade. So why do you? It's the potential that I think I'm scared of the most. It's not. It's like this potentially happening is so much of a danger to the team that you actually just have to make a change.
So I'm gonna cut you off just because we've already yapped about this. You can go back and look, but yeah, that's part of it, and that's the decision that they have to make. It's like, do we want to lean into let's be extremely dominant and also avoid the other outcome, which is FaZe making this roster? And to me, the answer is yes, but that's just something that they have to figure out. Right? It's not as, I wouldn't say it's easy, but yeah, it leans towards the side of, in my mind, go get this guy that could potentially bring you over the edge to you have no comp.
Do you think that would just become a 2-team league at that point? I mean, maybe gentlemen with the 3, but it's like
no, two teams.
It would just be grand finals, OpTic versus FaZe every time. So, and I still think OpTic could beat them. FaZe would still probably win some chips too, but it's like, if they're guaranteed grand finals, and who knows, maybe one of those teams goes 3 out of 6, and it's a better year.
I think someone would squeak like a grand finals against either one.
Maybe
Like that.
Maybe like a mates like this. Like a mates like this could, clutch up one of the times.
You know that 20-0 builder? This team right here goes 20-0, whatever it is. The 20-0 builder,
like,
the AI thing. Yeah, like this team goes 20-0. I love Kyler's game though. It's just Hydra's just throwing above him. But yeah, I mean, I think we answered it. You could scroll back and go listen to our combo though, Demon. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's get the next.
Yeah, how you boys doing?
That guy back, bro. What's up, man? How you doing?
What up?
That guy was hilarious.
I've seen a little some of the people talk about that Simp wants to get, the coaching staff and his boys paid. How much is that going to play a factor in teams like trying to really spend a bag on other players with Simp? Is the coaching staff is that really costly? Is that big of an upgrade? I know like some of y'all have better intel on that than others.
Yes, because unlike Matt Formal's take from a few years ago, coaches do actually matter in COD. I think what this FaZe team
now
is
he's trying to
proven,
alpha Matt right now after Matt.
now because Matt's saying I got alpha in the last call, so I'm an alpha Matt.
No, but they are. Hold on, they matter, but they are gassed. They are gassed.
So in the case of FaZe, like I think the coaching staff really proved their value this season, and I think Chris is someone that he's had RJ coaching for a long time, Crowder coaching for a long time. Like, I think there's a lot of trust with that group. They've had a lot of success. And if they're going to go anywhere or get salary bumps on FaZe, they want to do it as a squad.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be. Was your question is how expensive would it be?
Yeah, would that limit Sim's options at all?
Nah, Sim would still get paid a shit ton. Like coaches and the staff, get paid. They would get paid probably more if they were to go to Falcons or General Mates, but they're not getting paid insane amounts. A good coaching contract is probably 175 to 200. That's probably a really good one. And that's not even for Falcons or General Mates. If you're going to get 3 staff members like that, that's less than one super max contract you're giving to a player. So it's it's not that. I don't think it would hold any teams back.
It's significant. It is significant though. It is. If you're bringing 3 people with a guy that you're giving the biggest contract on your team, right? So
that's what you got to do for Simp, though. Like, if you really want Simp, you're going to have to make some sacrifices.
yeah, I mean, the mere fact these guys are willing to go and get Hydra, they're clearly ready to spend money. So,
yeah, I think the Chris thing is just them and their squad taking advantage of a high leverage position because they just perform very well. A lot of more skilled teams did not play well, and they can all look to those situations and gain leverage in renegotiations. It's a smart play, that squad.
yes, it is. All right, Poop Scoop.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's smart. Really taking care of the boys.
Get Chair back in here, bro.
You want to get Chair back in here? He's got his hand raised.
Yo.
What's
Swung on the
good?
chat though. Shit's popping right now. What's good?
Yeah,
Hey, what's good?
Yo,
Shout out to the chat.
So I had a little bit of time to think about this, and I really feel like we're underrating 04, Neum, some of these guys when we're talking about Rostermania, mainly because Nameless brought up a really big point earlier. I think the potential of 04 getting better this next season really needs to be in the back of some of these GMs' mind, because you have Crowder, who kind of raised the floor of this FaZe team, right? Going to this year, the FaZe lost the trio. What is Simp going to do? Can Simp do it? He ended up winning another championship. So I think we're sitting here trying to say, oh, bringing in Scrap, bringing in Hydra puts them on the level of OpTic, or like makes them competitive with OpTic, but they're already competitive. 04 has already shown that he can get to that superstar level, superstar takeover potential. But it's like they're forgetting that like Abuza also shoots straight as well. Like, like let's be real. Abuza is a top 4, top 5 AR in this game. He can shoot straight with Scrap. Scrap is not that much better than Abuza.
Yes, I agree.
Scrap is the
I 100% agree.
Are we just relitigating the argument we had a fucking hour ago? Like where we said difficult choices.
The whole thing is either
I'm just
you get
asking,
both or not.
Where do you guys see 04 in this debate? Because you guys make it seem like 04 is not like this superstar coming up. Like he's not one of the best.
Well, don't say you guys. Don't say you guys.
We literally had this argument an hour ago. We all three of us agree that 04 played excellent ball this season and was a big reason why this FaZe team won, and it's probably the best takeover in the league, especially in Respawn. But again, to relitigate what we had 45 minutes ago, they have to make tough choices and decisions here because Scrap and Hydra are available, and those are S tier players. It's just freaking, bro.
The difference with Neum is like 04. I mean, this is what, second season, third season in the league. Like he showed that he could dominate versus the top teams. Neum, it's only his first season. They won. He had a great Sunday at Major 3, but like for the role he was playing, he hasn't shown he could take over versus top teams like multiple times consistently yet. So like with this new Thieves roster, this is the year for Neum to show that he can go out there and get kills versus the top teams consistently.
To Dill's point, 04 showed it with 2 different teams. Neum shown it with like one God squad, right? So you probably need to see more out of him. The 04 one, I 100% agree with. He played exceptionally well. A bunch of seconds last year, winning champs this year. And that was, we talked about it 45 minutes ago, as Ben said. That was my whole take. Does it move the needle enough to where you break up a champs winning roster? And if you're going to make that decision, then you go for broke and you do Scrap and Hydra. That's the world that I would see it happening in. I don't know if you do like a 1-for-1 with either of them, with how they performed this year.
I guess I know we had that conversation earlier. What I was asking was, do we think that like if 04 or Abuza were to move to a different team, they have that same impact? Because I feel like you have to talk about the kills being spread out across the map, right? You can bring in Hydra and bring in a Scrap, but at the same time, there's only so many kills that can go around, and it's all about chemistry. That's what Crowder and all those guys are there for. Like Crowder kind of gelled that team together to make them flow that well. So do you guys really think that bringing in Scrap and Hydra would create like wouldn't it create more of a kill whoring thing rather than like teamwork? Because
have you watched Scrap's arrow, my boy? Scrap's got like the best arrow in the game.
But bro, the FaZe group listen, the one thing that Crowder does really well is he commands respect. RJ also commands respect, and they have Matt Fisher and sure, but one thing Fish has done well is teach players how to be more level-headed, how to meditate, how to, like make sure that you're not getting tilted, and you know how to deal with the stress, the pain, the anxiety of competing. They have all of the tools, and they run a very strict and professional camp. You just cannot get away with bullshit in their camp. You get pressured by the coaching staff, get pressured by the other players on the team. So I think Scrap and Hydra will fit fine in that system.
All right,
appreciate you guys.
Thank you for your question.
I can see like his perspective there. Yeah, chat. Scrap's arrow is fucking godlike, by the way.
Yeah, Ernie's very good.
Yo.
What up? What's up, Benji?
What's going on?
Chilling, dude.
I have a question. So I don't know if it's been discussed, but do you guys trust like Dashy to give you another hard 2 years without considering retirement or anything like that?
I don't know about 2, but I think 1 for sure.
Ashley's great.
I'm pretty sure he said he's definitely gonna play for 1. When you get older, it's just about the passion you have. He has a great team.
Yeah.
He clearly showed he's one of the best players still in the game this year. It just depends. Does he want to go through another year of scrimming? He's probably gonna play minimum 1 more season.
He's
Maybe
on the
we'll see
team
if he plays
until he's
another one.
done. Well, let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
Like
It's his choice.
He
It's
could-
his choice.
he should have been the MVP this year. Probably he was my vote. So
Yeah.
I don't know how he's still doing in his 30s, like Blaze said. Dashy's in his 30s. He's still old now.
guy
so
said,
I don't
"Yo,
know.
you 30?"
Yeah, that was crazy. That was, bro. He like forced. He's like, "Yo, no, you're 30. Like, how are you doing it in your 30s?" Like, brother,
Yeah,
he's 26,
so
bro.
gutted. He's gutted now. So like, would you say he deserves to go till the wheels fall off, or would you respect more if he like stepped down while there was like a player like Scrap to
Listen,
replace?
you
those
gotta
guys?
remember. The sun is what ages you. This guy hasn't seen the sun in 10 years. I'm being so serious, bro. So
That's
like
great.
his real life, like his metabolic age is probably like 23, bro. This guy is still young, man. So I
True,
think
but it could also be like other motives, like maybe just he wants to do something new, or he's probably going to go into content with OpTic as well. So maybe he just considers taking a different route eventually as well.
I think it's to what
I don't know.
Dill
He's a
said,
gamer.
bro.
Well,
If he's got the talent, bro. If he doesn't have the passion anymore, I'm sure
It
he's gonna
comes
be
down
like,
to
what's-
scrims, bro.
wait, how
Yeah,
can we
be
say
like
he
what
doesn't have the
Sam
passion if he doesn't have the passion? This guy has hella passion. He's 27 and he's probably the true MVP, right? Would we agree?
Yeah, but to my point, Ant, like it's like what Sam did. It's like Sam knew that he could probably still play for a couple more years and still shoot straight, be an impact player. But like if I'm getting on and I'm not giving 110 to my teammates watching VOD, I'm letting my team and my org down.
Yeah, but
The fuck
Sam
am I
didn't have
doing just
8,000
flying in?
fans chanting Bruce. Like it's a bit different. You know the dopamine Brandon gets at every event? It's way different, bro.
Yeah, it's just probably insane.
Yeah. It's gotta be insane.
I think
Can we do
Brand's got a
Legacy
couple more
Weekend in
years.
Arena. We
for
need to do
sure.
Legacy Weekend in Arena next year. Please,
I
Opti, let's
will-
do Legacy Week at like American Airlines Center.
I'll also say
Invite me
this,
again.
and I don't
Thank you.
know if other people have really talked about this, but I do think OpTic kind of fosters an environment that's like kind of fun for the players. Like they do a lot of stuff together. They have a lot of content. Like you've seen these guys all the time, and it looks like they're having a good time. Maybe they're showing up for their call time and they think that it's boring, but from what I see, it looks fun, right? So I don't think it's like an environment like that would make him want to retire. Like Sam was probably over scrimming, over the stress, all that shit. And yeah, that shit could make you not want to play anymore. But it seems like Dashy's still having fun. So I don't think that's coming.
Brand's not
anytime soon.
retiring anytime soon. I'm so
Yeah.
tired of people asking when he's gonna fucking retire. Next
And
question.
the other part is he has a God Squad alongside him playing Godlike. So there's just no reason to
Yeah.
stop.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All
got
right.
like 9 more minutes. I have a hard out in 8 minutes.
Well, we
Where
have
do
to
you
get back to
go,
chair.
Ben?
We
I
have
have
to
a
get back to
haircut
chair.
of 4,
Yo,
so
what up,
I
guys?
have a haircut of
Your
4.
hair
so.
looks fine right
And
now.
if you
Why
cut it
do
off,
need
it
a
might not
haircut?
grow back.
Wait, are you going
What's up,
bald? Oh, sorry.
No,
What's
I'm
that?
not going bald. Next question. What's good, bro?
Yeah. 2 quick questions since Ben has to go bald in a few minutes.
W.
So the first one is, what do you guys think of a roster of Kremp, Ghosty, Aluka, and Kismet?
Extremely mid, but yeah, I fuck with it.
Yeah, they're gonna probably get 4th a couple times, maybe a lucky 3rd here and there. Then some 6, some ace. You know, not bad though. It's just like a bunch of B tier players, and how good will they get?
Yeah,
I think there's an opportunity for Mo to be a really feature player on that team, as along with Ramp, and as long as they're on the same page, like that could be a good squad. But to your point, there'll be some more. That reminds me of like Thieves. Like I could see them having bumps early, but being a team you don't want to play at champs at the end of the year.
I feel like that team would break up after like Major 2. But
All right, and the next question is, do you think that Sib is doing a disservice to himself by automatically going and hopping on a team with Pred after everything that's happened to him in the past couple of years? I feel like Sib could get on much better teams.
yeah, honestly, probably. Like, and you could probably make a campaign to go make a nice little roster with like G2 with like Kremp or something, right? Like if he can get out of his contract with Gentlemates, like, or Koi or something. Like I think either of those situations would be better.
Yeah, I think, well, kind of what you're saying, Ant, too. Like this particular offseason, there's going to be the Thieves Open, probably. Toronto Koi Open, probably. M80, are they going to come in and spend money? Do they want to build a good team?
Yeah.
Falcons, depending on what happens, if they can't get everyone, they can maybe go there. So it's like Surge, they're coming in and spending money too. It's like these players that are in the waiting room in the mid pack should just chill and wait to see what happens and not just commit themselves to a team, because a couple of them might get lucky and build some really good rosters. But yeah, committing to just like a mid volatile team early
Like
on is definitely troll.
Yeah,
it's troll.
I agree 100%. Sib is probably the guy out of all these guys, and maybe a little bit of Neptune, like, where you might just want to wait a little bit because you're like the direct next tier of like, if shit goes south, like a good team might just hit you up.
Yeah.
So if he does that, I'd be shocked, but he might just not want to deal with the stress of the offseason. All right, man. All right, let's get Turtle in here.
What if Bruce retires, you replace him? Should OpTic getting 8th every event? I don't know if Merc could carry me out of top 8, I'm ass. What's up, man?
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you, Turtle.
What's up, guys?
Sib said false prop everywhere.
No roster talk.
So this team's not happening. Look at this, Sib. You see this? Goodbye. All right. That's all I took from that.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna wait. He's not gonna insta sign. That would be troll. I would call him a dumbass.
Yeah, he has leverage right now. Like if one domino falls right,
he could build a solid team. He could build a solid team if he waits.
What do you got for us today, Turtle?
So today, who has had a bigger impact on OpTic, Merc or Shotzi?
Entire career?
No, competitive for when they've joined OpTic.
I'll probably go Shotzi still.
Yeah,
still.
Yeah.
Over Merc?
Yeah, just because Shotzi's giving you a consistent level of excellence over years and years, right? Like, I mean, Merc's been on the team for
giving you all a consistent dominance since he's entered.
I mean, Shotzi won a champs
12 months. Well, it's 12 months. Like, Ant's been doing it for longer than 12 months. This has been a great 12 months for Mace, but like, slow the roll on that one.
But then, like, what if they didn't have both? Like, what if they just had Shotzi? And we saw when they just had Shotzi, it was rough going, but they were still winning some chips. If they didn't have Shotzi, they just had Merc and were working with that. Could they have done the same thing? Who knows?
And if they were to just pick right now, if OpTic had to pick one player to keep between those two, it's probably still Shotzi, right? So
yeah,
probably. But I would argue Merc's impact has been like complete dominance since he joined OpTic. They haven't really been like considered, oh, here's another OpTic doing OpTic things again. It's like
also just default to this.
There's context to it too.
Also just default to this every time.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say quick. I also just default to this every time. Dill, you know the elite SMG will always trump the elite AR when you're talking about roster composition.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you build your team around the sub. You always build your team around the subs, and then with Shotzi's OpTic teams, there was always some bullshit happening. There was people, the hand injury, like just other stuff happening. When Merc, granted that team was 0-18, but they had the pieces to still be great, and he was just the piece they needed to the puzzle to win everything.
0-18's a myth. I'll die on that hill.
It was a myth?
Wait, why is it a myth?
They did not lose 18 straight. They beat Falcons in the minor.
Yeah, but we're talking about the league matches, though.
I know. I'm just trolling.
Yeah.
All good. Turtle trolls appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Don't forget the graphic, Ant.
I will. I'll show it at the very end. All right. We got to rip through these.
I got room for
quick.
2 more questions. 2 more.
All right.
Yo.
Pull up this graphic.
Go,
sorry.
Just a quick one. Is it just me that thinks Rostermania is gonna pan out kind of shit? Like OpTic won't change, FAZE won't change. Scrap and Hydra probably will just go to Genemates and then that's it. I don't really see OpTic and FAZE shaking up that much. I don't know why it's kind of like the main go-to for everyone. Well,
no, I think there'll be
just don't think
changes.
it will happen.
I think there'll be changes. Because there's going to be changes. What else do you want me to say? Like it's going to happen.
Do you think everyone? Ben, do you think 12 out of 12 teams are changing though, or do you think?
No, I think OpTic's the only one that I'm uncertain about. I think
after
I would say more likely than not. I think the other 11 teams all change.
Yeah, I think FaZe is going to change probably for sure. OpTic is the one where I'm like, okay, maybe not, but FaZe, I think they're going to change regardless, and then everyone else by that will change as well. So
I think I understand like the other teams, but I just mean those top 2. I don't see FaZe changing either. Personally.
Nah, I think FaZe will end up being Scrap Hydra draw Simp. The more I think about it,
minimum, yeah, I think at minimum it will be that if Simp stays, because who knows if Simp leaves, all hell's gonna break loose.
Yeah, hey, fair enough. That's just how I see it, but that's fair.
Wait, who are you a fan of, King?
I'm a Scrap fan. I don't really care what team he's on. As long as Scrap's on it, I'm a Scrap fan.
Oh, so like a LeBron fan, basically.
Yeah.
The worst type of fans. All right, man. Thank you for the question, bro. Appreciate it.
Come on.
All right, here we go. Ben said he's got one more. We'll get Joser in here.
Yep.
Joser, okay. Here? Alrighty. All right, the next guy. What's up, bro? What up, Level?
Yo, what up? What up? Everybody's been talking about Rostermania for like a week now or however long. I think it's time to bring up the conversation of the format. Rostermania talk's been good, but when is the CDL going to change the format? And are we going to see more of a Halo style format or like what it was in EWC? Open bracket for these challenger teams, like challengers popped off this year more than it has ever popped off, and like an open bracket style like format would be electric going into next year.
So
Yeah.
I can take this one if you want it.
Oh, go ahead.
There are going to be format changes for next season. They're being actively discussed right now. And the core goal is that they want to try and feature amateur teams more at each major. I don't think we're going to have like an old CWL style event at every major, but like the league and the other owners have seen what people like Bush have done. Tom's done with the Stallions, OpTic with the Huntsman, Team War, Omid. They understand that tier 2 drives a lot of interest and a lot of discussion. They understand the bottom parts of the team in the league, or the bottom teams in the league, don't do much from a marketing perspective, and you can argue those other teams do more. And they want to kind of create more interest, especially in the beginning of tournaments on Thursday and Friday. So it's being heavily discussed. Format changes.
Do you think it's going to be more like that Halo style now, where there's like a true open bracket with like an AM team coming into like a group stage?
Nah, because that's just
Where
old
it's
It's just
COD.
gonna be like pro-ams. Like
Yeah, that's more like that
It'll
old
be more like
CWL style.
pro-ams. Yeah, it won't be like a full open bracket where they lead into it probably, because that would just be the old COD format.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
right.
they might do
Here's
some
what,
stuff where it's like there's a qualifier for like the top 4 elite teams, and then you play in a pool play, and there's 2 pro-ams now. Like,
Yep.
but there won't be like just a complete open bracket, and then you end up in the pros. I wish there was, but I don't think it'll be like that.
My guess is that they will look at the EU, MENA EU, NA elites, and use those as funnels into teams into some bracket format. That is the most likely scenario I've heard. What that looks like, I don't know, but they're going to make those elites very important, because if a team wins that or you get second, you'll be able to play into pros at the major.
Do you think the holdback from going into the more open style because of the like money these teams paid to be into franchising essentially?
That and that limits the amount of venues you can get into. You can't go into like a stadium venue because we're, you know what I'm saying? Like you have a scheduling problem and a number of days problem at that point.
It's also like, what are you really trying? What are you trying to do? You're trying to showcase the like elite challengers teams, and the easier way and a more effective way to do that is probably just pro-ams, but have them like qualify right going into it rather than hosting like the massive open. Right? It's just all all comes down to like money and what's effective and what's the end goal, which I think they can accomplish and like kind of do what you're saying with what Ben said. I think we'll probably just have more of those going into the next year.
And one last question about
very quick.
Very quick with Rostermania. In regards to Sib, I saw he was in here earlier. Like, do you think that Sib would be better served with like a like a much better coach, like say like a Cinder or a Crowder, that like get his fundamentals in a much better place to play better? Because I think that's something he's lacked like massively on every team he's been on, is that like really solid coach that's like kept him in check.
He's had great coaches. Coaching is not the problem with Dante.
Yeah.
What coaches has he had that been quote unquote great?
Sender. He was coached by Sender and D-Ro on subliners. Then he was coached by.
But that was arguably when he played his best, though. Like, so since then he's not been.
Dante's problem is not a coaching problem. It's he needs to be an impact player more consistently to be considered an elite level AR again.
Yeah, we just got to find some consistency. Sib can pop take over. We saw it earlier in the year, but he's always been kind of like that, in my opinion, like X Factor type of guy. Also needs the right pieces around him, which is why I think he shouldn't just insta sign to the Surge, because I think he will have offers. I mean, would like a nice coaching staff help him? Probably.
Yeah. Appreciate your question, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good one, guys.
All right, so that's the end of the episode, but we do have one final thing. It's the podcast stat of the week. Shout out to Turtle, friend of the show. Of the last 18 grand final winners, minors included, 17 of them have been OpTic, FAZE, or Thieves, storied franchises. Thieves entering a rebuild, so that's probably going to change. And then Gentlemates are the only team outside of the top 3 to win one, which is kind of just interesting to see when you feel like there's been
crazy
more parity in the league. Really, like these guys have been dominating. And then I know the answer to this, so I'll ask you guys. OpTic have won more EWC series than another team with 13 total. What team has the second most?
EWC.
Probably Miami, I would think.
No, 2 away. They were 2 off.
They were 2 off.
Yeah. Miami is in third.
Thieves.
Yeah. Yep. Thieves.
Because
Yep.
Thieves got second their first year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many in chat actually
And they got
knew
third
that?
this year.
Yeah.
This one's
And
insane.
they made it
though.
deep at the last one.
This stat's wild.
That was insane. But to finish the show, this is why Rostermania is taking a while. OpTic and FAZE kind of run this league, and they're taking their time trying to figure out what they're going to do with their teams, and we'll cover on the next show.
Yeah. And at the same time, it's typical because Thieves have had, a rebuild in the midst of all this, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to them. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We will have more episodes throughout this off season. They will be announced on Twitter via me or Ben and the podcast page. Make sure you follow it. It's in the description below. Leave a like. And this was a fun season, man. Rambo Ray couldn't be here today. He was with the baby, but he will be appearing. And whether or not we can get him to talk about Rostermania is yet to be known.
We're not going to talk about WrestleMania. It's shocked, but whatever.
But
we'll make it work.
Thank you as always. And Dill, friend of the show, appreciate you, man. Phenomenal.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Ben.
Take it easy, everyone.
Peace.